So it has been a couple weeks, so please feel free to ask questions as they come up. But last we left off, the Left Stars had finished their candid conversation with each other at the Oak Barrel, where you all had retreated after your run-in with Master Crux at the Burning Needle. You spent the day afterwards running errands throughout Consonance, shopping for apology gifts, and looking at a diamond spyglass for Mouse. Considered your options for selling the Ayrshire brandy that you've been holding on to, but in the end returned to meet with Hardhold, and Drada was granted a quick one-on-one audience. While there's some clearly there's still some hope in salvaging that relationship after the prior night's fight. For a person like Hardhold, actions speak louder than words, and there is sort of one task on his mind. And with that, Drada pledged to bring the party to investigate, clear out, and possibly help to repair the Blood Bank of Ventus, which is a ruined structure nearby Aesop's family home that used to sort of have the infrastructure needed to feed the vampire population. You all returned to Aesop's home, ran into both his friend Savvy as well as Alua, who happened to be there. Alua hinted at some links that Master Crux could have to the throne and sort of pledged to look into that further. And Aesop took Savvy out for a casual stroll where nothing went wrong, and got some tickets to see her show sometime over the next week. And then you all bedded down, and you are now enjoying the benefits of a long rest as you sort of wake up the next morning and start your morning routines and preparing your spells and this and that and the other thing. So what would you like to do?
I think Aesop shockingly had a good night's sleep after his con save from the previous game. I think I would still wake up with a lot of worry and still... How early is it? I should ask that first.
Yeah, I mean, the sun's been up for 2 hours or so.
Okay. I think I'll send...
You would expect Savvy to wake up around the same... Like, if you got a full night's sleep, by now, she's awake.
I'll send a message sending out to her, cast it at 3rd level, consume spell slot, yes. Just being like, good morning, I had a lot of fun last night. Can't wait to see you perform. How are you feeling?
After a few seconds, you get a response saying, oh, good morning. Feeling great. Were you thinking about coming tonight then, or? But yeah, things are well.
DM, I thought all of her tickets for the following week. So I have written down in my notes.
I believe they are for the next, like, anytime over the next 7 days.
Okay. I don't want to use another spell slot because I know where we're going, so I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, she seemed fine in her voice, so.
Okay. That was the goal. You can breathe.
Imagine you do that. You send that message before you even sort of join your party in the living room.
Mm-hmm. Well, do we go to the Bum Lake bright and early, or are we going to wait till later in the day?
Did you send your friend a message letting her know that someone might be out to kill her? Or...
There's no need to worry, right? It's fine. She's fine, though, this morning.
I found no one in the night, and that means that no one was there, and I couldn't have missed anyone at all.
Flax, you wake up hearing all this, having been passed out, if I recall, because you are still suffering from exhaustion. You have no idea what they're talking about.
Just staring blankly, try to figure out what the hell's going on.
It's fine. I don't want to make her worry. I don't want to put my troubles onto her. It wasn't the plan.
I'll catch Clax up and let him know. It seems like
So-
someone may have followed Aesop yesterday
Yeah.
evening.
What they look like? Did we get a?
Shadowy dark figure. I will say though, I was cautious enough to spend time with my friend in the light of the palace. However, going home, if they were following me the entire time, they had every single opportunity to attack or do something if they wanted to. So I don't know what that means.
Well, and believe we have good reason to believe that Master Krex has a cloak or something that will allow them to be within light. So it's not like a surefire way to be safe, but yeah.
Speaking of safety, who wants to jump into an abandoned ruin?
What could go wrong?
Yeah. I mean, we're trying to figure out what
Super
happened there,
safe.
right?
Drado, give me a history check. It
First
is-
roll.
Yeah, first roll back. 11. Is sort of rewinding for a second. Is you've sort of like thinking about these cloaks, this cloak that you saw Stalnivon give Master Krex in the dream. You've heard of cloaks that can do this before. They are quite rare. You don't really know exactly how it works, but you know it's like not comfortable. Like it's sort of like you can be out in the sun without taking damage, but it's still not a good time.
Is it like rare as in they're like do I know they're just crazy expensive, or there's something you can only source from one
I
place?
think with a history 11, I don't think you know that. You just sort
Yeah,
of
okay.
I think that I would say with history 11 that you know that there's not there's not a stockpile of them as like a standard uniform. It's sort of like they're given, if they were ever made for anybody, it was sort of like very few and far between.
Yeah, if he's got one of those cloaks, he's a lucky Felix. Yep, he's lucky. They're not easy to come by.
I think it's a good assumption to make that it was probably him checking us out. And I was an easy target for him,
Also-
unfortunately.
Also, I feel like just a thought for us to keep in the back of our heads of that means, I mean, if he knows where you return to, Aesop, like, he could be following or watching us really at any point. I don't think it'd be pleasant for him during the day. He could do it, but I don't think he'd necessarily want to.
I was supposed to say, is there a need when he knows that he could just slip away at night pretty easily like he did last time?
I don't know if there's a need. I also don't know his motives at the moment. So
Do I have any reason to believe, or is it like a common myth or anything in this world that like they do need, like that vampires do need to be invited inside?
You can roll a history check if you would like.
welcome to Ask Drada.
Fair.
Yeah. You have no idea.
Fair. Hey, Trava, do you? This is one of those like I feel like getting a history check that low. I guess I don't even know that this would occur to Flint. Like, I know it's a commonplace myth in our society, but
I think I might have said this in session 0 that like anything that you think you know about vampires is like at minimum superstition or like propaganda. So it's like it may be like a thing you've heard before, but you have no basis of knowing whether it's true.
Strahda, do you know if vampires actually have to be invited into a house? Or is that not a thing?
Sorry, what? You really think? I'm sorry. You really... The audacity.
I mean, I'm just asking. I've heard rumors, but I know there's a lot of, myths and rumors and propaganda and whatever out there. So,
Well, since we're on that, I mean, garlic.
How fucking dare you?
No, I'm serious. In Ildre, that's a big thing. Garlic.
I mean, you're welcome to try to feed a vampire 40 cloves of garlic chicken and then invite them into your house for a long, lovely discussion and see what transpires. We'll leave it at that.
I'm mostly asking about the gas being needed to be asked to come inside thing. So it could maybe give us some peace of mind for Aesop's parents and other folks, but maybe
Mouse, roll me a wisdom check.
Yes.
Just making everybody roll. Just use the insightful one.
Oh, okay. You said wisdom check.
Yeah, 'cause it's more of a memory.
Memory.
Okay. I would only, like, as you're just thinking about this, the only thing that really occurs to you is that whenever there was a game night at the Burning Needle, there was somebody greeting people at the door.
You share that with everybody else?
Maybe we should just tell your parents not to invite anybody in who just says they're friends of ours, because they seem to do that a lot.
Oh yeah, that's honestly so true, and yet so sad of my parents. Why would they do that?
Yeah, honestly,
they knew
when we're
Savvy
not
though.
Here, let's unpack that more.
Yeah, they knew Savvy, but Alula.
Well, they did know her from her being in the room the previous
Oh
time.
yeah, she was previously with us. Yeah.
Alua or Alula?
Alula. I called her Alula, didn't I? Oopsie.
I'm now calling her Alula.
Wow.
Retcon.
That's one way to win her
Long
respect.
story short, tell your parents to be careful, and they should be fine.
How do I bring that conversation up, though?
I'll talk to him.
Say, hey, some scary shit's happening in the city and around the country, and just be safe, and also know that we're starting to get more of a reputation, and that can mean friends and not friends.
Why does that scare me to have that conversation with them? Oh God, I just don't want them to jump into action.
They do seem like
I'd rather you have an uncomfortable conversation than people we don't know barge into your childhood home and do things you'd rather them not do.
Yeah, that's true. Mass, what'd you say?
I was just saying they do seem pretty trusting. They also seem like problem solvers who might intervene if they feel there are people who are putting you at risk.
Yeah. Are my parents home right now?
Yeah, I think you'd probably hear them sort of fumbling around in one of the other rooms.
Okay. I'll go in. I'll go into the room, knock on the wall. Good morning. How are we feeling? How'd you sleep?
Yeah, the door opens and it looks like they were just sort of getting changed.
Oh, sorry.
No, not like that.
Oh.
And your mom steps out in a simple robe and just sort of says, "Everything's fine. Just honestly not sure what's on the docket for today, so I think we're probably just gonna go shopping."
Nice. God, I miss our remember when we used to do shopping sprees together? That was so much fun. Oh.
You're just self-inserting that your family used to spoil you.
How I imagine Aesop's life. But no, I'll tell my mom, hey, can I just talk to you and Dad just in the room real quick, just for a quick second?
Sure.
Yeah.
they let you in and close the door because they're not sure if it's like a private thing.
So things are getting a little spicy in the city in terms of vampiric activity. And we're going to just kind of investigate that today, make sure everything's on the up and up and everything's we're trying to help some people out. So, as we all know the myths, the superstitions, right? Don't let the vampires have to ask to be let in, blah, 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 blah. They can't walk out in the daytime. So, since I think because we're slowly gaining a reputation, just be careful of who's walking around in the neighborhood. I think I'm starting to get a little popular, which, of course I love, but I think I'm getting popular with the wrong people sometimes. I'm pretty unique. I mean, the two tells doesn't help. Thanks, Dad.
He says, I'll be sure to carry my mirror with me and check people.
Thank you.
I mean, sounds like you've got an adventure of some kind. So
yeah, we're checking something out today. So making sure that there's no wrongdoing, So exciting stuff.
Well, and this is your mother sort of piping in, says, well, of course, just be safe. Did want to just sort of ask if you and your friends plan on staying much longer?
Yeah. Oh, God.
Just something to think about. We can talk about it later.
Yeah, we've kind of been using up a lot of we've been staying here a lot. I'm sorry. We're just trying to figure things out.
No, it's completely fine. I think we just hoping to have a little bit of quiet time now that after such a long mission, it's nice to sort of settle in and not be hosting folks if possible. But if you guys need a place to stay, that's completely fine.
You guys deserve the time. The Savannah Island was a nightmare, quite literally. So I respect that you guys need your time, and I will talk about it and work on it with the group.
They continue to sort of reassure you that it's fine, but just sort of giving you the hint.
The hint, yeah.
And then you eventually rejoin the party.
I'll give
hugs.
Yes, hugs, and I'll rejoin the party. Conversation was less awkward than I thought it would be, so thanks for egging me on a little bit, because I was kind of worried of having that conversation, but I'm glad it went well.
Happy to hear it.
I did not hear what you said.
I'm happy to hear it.
Okay, thanks.
Well, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I vaguely remember something like this place is slightly patrolled. It's supposed to be off limits. It's not necessarily the easiest to get to during the day because it's kind of able to be seen. I'm trying to recall from last session. Forgive my memory.
Approximately where it is, and it was, I think, also pointed out by Harthold on a loose map that Drada has. It's not necessarily hard to get to, but yes, you as a guard know that it's an area that is, the perimeter of it is sort of patrolled with the intent of keeping people out of it. But it's, so depending on your method of approach, you will have to sort of contend with that. The patrols, we haven't really talked about this, but the patrols are sort of dictated by the lieutenant, like the roads that are most traveled. So you only really knew how your team did it. You don't really know exactly how whoever's on watch here might do it.
Okay. And okay.
But you do know that it's It's not that far away. Maybe like a half hour, a little bit longer if you're really taking a quiet approach. So it's just a matter of sort of deciding what that approach is and getting all your armor on and hitting the road, unless there's anything else you guys want to do today.
Yeah, do we want to like walk? Once we get there, just like try to scope out the perimeter of the place, look for any easier or more accessible ways in. I mean, I'm tempted to. Flax, any insights you have would be appreciated, just given what you know about patrolling, or if you know the area.
I know the general area, but I mean the biggest thing is it's just keeping an eye out on timing. If the patrol aren't through at the time, we should be all right. But if they're there, they're going to ask questions, what we're doing, why we're in that general area, because it's kind of tucked back a bit. So we want to really, I think it's one of those, if we skirt as close to the main road as possible and kind of see where the patrols are at, and then maybe if we realize the patrol's already gone by or in a different part, we then duck down. Either that or we kind of sneak around. Now that's not really my forte, but we can try it.
Before you disappear on us, I do want to give you gift of the lab cookie, Drata. But I was waiting until we got close enough that it seemed imminent.
I mean, I don't know if I was even planning on disappearing, but that's very kind, thank you. Yeah, do we want to... If you're not feeling like stealthing is the game right now, Clax, I'm happy to check and try to see if we can time it well. We could also do a nice... mouse becomes a small rodent and it's in someone's pocket. I jump in a bag, just to make our numbers as few as possible. I just want to jump in a bag.
Now that we know you
Someday.
can do it.
No, I think we just start walking that direction and kind of see what's going on. Because if I remember correctly, the Longle's already moved on from.
Yeah, Longo's on the edge. He was in this district, but he's gone.
And let's go back to my notes. I thought I wrote it down somewhere, but I don't see whose rotation's on next.
I don't know if it's been revealed for this place, for this district.
Got it. So then, I think we kind of take our chance.
I'd say, give me a history check. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that you were a guard, so maybe you would sort of remember what the deal is.
History. There we go.
Oh.
Nope.
At least you're not rolling with disadvantage anymore.
That is true. That really hurt. That really hurt. So. But if you guys are good with that, I say we just kind of start walking over and just kind of keep an eye out. And if it looks like patrols are coming near that area, we just keep walking. We double back later.
Head that way.
Let's do it.
Alrighty. So, sort of leading in the general direction, you would sort of head a little bit south, sort of down the main road just a little bit, before you would eventually need to sort of cut into a more residential or sort of residential territory where there's a variety of like fields and gardens and things like that. It's a little bit more sparse up here, and you've sort of exited the Minotaur neighborhood at this point, which isn't, because it's not that big. So even just walking 20 minutes away, you're sort of starting to get into, you're actually pretty close to like Mother Mary's at this point as you're wandering through, and you're going to have to start cutting off into the residential area. So what is the method at which you are making this approach? Are we sort of trying to gather some information? Are we trying to just be stealthy and beeline it? What is, and who's leading is sort of the other question.
I can attempt to lead. Oh, go ahead, Drata.
I was going to say, I think it kind of makes sense for Flax and I maybe to lead. I am good at seeing things, and Flax can present at least some semblance of we're supposed to be here. Flesh knows the area.
Okay. If you give me sort of a roll and then tell me what you're trying to accomplish with that roll. And we're not into stealth territory yet. It's sort of like based on how you're trying to navigate the situation with the guards.
You want us each to roll or just Strata?
Well, yeah. If each of you could roll based on what you're looking for, or if you guys want to give somebody advantage and as a help action.
I think I'd help Drata by just saying, hey, at least when we came through, these were the paths we walked. This is where we went. You know, these are the things to look out for. Like that intersection over there is usually a quick stop because there's a well there to refill canteens.
And Drata, are you just sort of keeping an eye out?
I think, yeah, I'm like putting all those pieces in my head and like trying to figure out, okay, like what is the path that people might take? What might be the safer points of infiltration?
Okay. Give me an investigation check with advantage because you're being helped. Okay. Cool. You sort of make a little mental map of what Clax is putting down, and you sort of get off of the main road and start to navigate between these more residential buildings that are not nearly as sort of like large and homey as the Minotaur ones are, but they're still well put together and modest in many ways. Nothing like the slum areas that you sort of saw on the edge or sort of elsewhere throughout the city. You start to sort of take some of the paths that Clax is mentioning, and I would say probably more of the paths that with investigation 17, you're sort of taking some of the less traveled paths that it's like not quite stealth territory. This is just really just as far as Clax recalls from the times patrolled. These are sort of like the alleys that are harder to see from the ground. But go ahead and give me a perception check as well. I'm going to say both of you individually for this one. Okay. Drata, you do sort of see up ahead a little bit. I think you have an instinct to go for the high ground. And you sort of see what initially sort of looks like a silhouette, but then you do see a sort of like short sword, or sort of like in a scabbard, wielded by a tabaxi who is sort of like perched on the corner of a rooftop. And at this point, you're far enough away that you would not draw your suspicion to yourself. But they do have just sort of like a sentinel's gaze on this side street. And so at this point, you're probably like a good 100 feet away, and still with the party.
Continuing, not really breaking stride, but just continuing walking and kind of just chatting casually. I'm trying to speak with like the intonation of chatting casually, but just going, oh, look, we have a friend. Kind of craning neck up, not any obvious gestures or anything, but trying to indicate where this tabaxi is. And then still kind of in a just normal, happy, conversational tone, just be like, yeah, it looks like we might have a friend up there. Flax, I'm wondering if there, might be any other ways we could be traveling right now. What do you think?
Oh, go ahead, DM.
I was going to say that just sort of like peeking up there, you don't know this individual. This is not the lieutenant, but this is the Pride, the sort of tabaxi squad of guards that are actually quite vigilant in their work and very good at it. So you just sort of like clock it and then do with that information what you will.
So with where he's scanning, does he have a view of where we're headed? Like we would cross his view, or is it one of those things where we could probably circumvent, go a different direction?
At this present moment, they are within line of sight of you, but they sort of seem to have like a 180-degree sort of breadth that they're monitoring. So if you were to duck behind some other buildings, then you would avoid their gaze for sure.
But is that 180 covering the only path we need to go?
No. There's all sorts of alleys, but like a lot of like tight buildings and fences and trees and stuff. You will have to roll stealth if you're not giving a wide berth, but there, of some other streets that you can walk down to try to avoid them.
Well, hey, if I remember, Mother's Mary's is this way, and duck down an alleyway, like nonchalantly, not trying to make any.
Give me another set of perception checks, and then while you're doing that roll, I'm going to ask if anybody else is doing anything as you're sort of just following Klax and Drada.
I think I'm getting ready, getting major image just like in my mind and like a possible situation in case we need a distraction of someone else running down another alleyway or like a big site that the Tabaxi would look at. I think I'm like focusing on that and like waiting for like, we need a distraction. Bam.
I think I'm probably trusting Klax and Drada to have up front covered and then kind of watching behind us, making sure there's not some patrol or something tailing us or coming up behind.
Mouse is like trying again to gather more unbloomed flowers, but realizes that the rest of the party's on high alert, so she's paying attention.
I'm sure there's plenty of things that you can scoop up. There's this one flower that, well, good. Give me a perception check, Mouse, we'll say. It's sort of like as Drada and Klax are sort of navigating down this other side street, and you start to see, I would say, caution cross their face again. As you see another tabaxi perched on another roof, covering sort of like another square of this area. And you see this like cluster of really beautiful flowers just sort of in this garden that have, it's sort of like, they might be like night orchids or something because they haven't like quite bloomed. But you just sort of read the moment, and it's sort of like, you'd have to get a lot closer to get those.
I say, oh, look, there's so many pretty flowers here. And so many cat people.
And as the two of you, it's sort of with your prior investigation of 17, your perception checks, you're able to sort of see them. But they seem to be patrolling this area at the moment, but you do sort of see within perception 29 that you kind of hear shouts from back where you came, not violent shouts or anything, but sort of just like barking orders as the one who is here sort of rotates out of this section, and you sort of see a opening for the time being if you wanted to come through.
Mother Mary sounds like a great idea. I'm wondering if it also sounds like a great idea to move now.
Following your lead.
Let's go, kids.
Okay. I am going to ask for stealth from everybody with advantage because you found an opening. Straight rolls for you heavy armor folks.
Yep.
Now it's me. So strange.
Almost a good roll.
I beat Flint. Wow, Drada.
That
Drought
20s do help.
Drought is a ghost.
It's pretty good.
It's reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good.
Well, and Aesop, you don't get advantage, Aesop?
So because I have scale mail now, which gives
Oh.
disadvantage, it was a straight roll.
Yeah, it's not heavy
Gotcha.
armor, but it is heavy medium armor. So,
Gotcha.
Oh, actually, I have a breastplate now. I do technically have advantage.
oh, sure.
Roll that beautiful beam footage.
I don't have disadvantage.
Yeah, well.
Wow.
Not meant to be.
That's your second one of the night already, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh,
Get him out
no.
now.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Mother Mary sounds great, and Flint, if you could stop.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think Gerardo just like picks Flint up temporarily and it's like, you're making too much noise, and just sort of gets you over the
Get
hurdle.
on my back. Let's go.
This is offensive. But I'll go with it.
So was the garlic question were equal?
I didn't ask about the garlic.
That was clacked.
Clax, you're making noise, but you have sort of confidence as you hear sort of the shingles of rooftop of individuals bouncing from rooftop to rooftop, heading in the opposite direction. And you know that with the low volume of your party, at the very least, that your footsteps alone are not enough to draw their attention. You start to get closer to the facility, and you sort of get past a cluster of houses before it sort of enters a clearing of sorts, and you sort of see it up ahead, maybe a good 100 feet in front of you. It sort of is this one story building, except for this like small bell tower that seems to be atop the building. And it's sort of wide with a courtyard of sorts. You don't really see all the details from where you're standing just now, but you can see just sort of in the distance that it has sort of fallen to disrepair. There's like vines that have crawled into windows, and walls that seem ruined or broken in this courtyard area. The building itself doesn't look that large, but you already know that there's some kind of underground component to it. But you sort of look at it in the distance as a lot of the trees in this area seem to be dead, or at least like not sprouting leaves. And you do see sort of like, what is the fantasy equivalent of like yellow tape? I'd say you see a few posts, like simple signposts that just sort of say "keep out" on the perimeter of a fence.
Do we see any other signs of this being watched or monitored?
You may give me a perception check if you'd like. Or
Why am I the one? I would rather help someone by pointing where guards might hang out.
There you go. Go ahead.
Oh,
I'm getting these out of the way
Get
too.
them all out now, baby.
You guys are going to be rolling very average soon. From a distance, you do not see any kind of active patrol on top of or around this building, but with a natural 20, I would say you sort of start to hear those same orders being barked, some hundreds of feet behind you, as the rooftop rotation is sort of Tabaxi or jumping back into whatever their patrol is, and you sort of know, while this area is not, you sort of have some confidence that while this area is not itself being patrolled, it's close enough that if there was any like thunderous loud noises, that it would draw the attention of people who are on watch. So, you've seen, like, I would say Drada's seen his allies use some pretty noisy spells, and it would just sort of, you'd have a mental note to be like, all right, patrols are close enough that that if something were to happen here, it may draw their attention.
If we go quietly, I think we'll be just fine.
All right.
Before that, hey, Aesop, what's the range of your illusion spell?
My range, let's see.
Yeah.
It is a hefty description, so it can be no longer than a 20-foot cube.
But it
How
has
far away can you?
Yeah.
But it has a 120 feet range.
Okay. Just so if things go bad, we'll make something nice and distracting else.
Well, I also have Dimension Door, and I could take someone else with me, but that is a hefty spell to use before we get in there.
Let's not try to use that now.
Let's put Drada, Clax as a rabbit, and Flint in a bag, and then Aesop will Dimension Door with Flint.
Hey, that could work.
No.
I mean, I can summon a storm. Cats don't like rain, right?
Let's maybe just try and get inside. Let's find a door.
Other marriage is a great suggestion. Let's go inside.
Well, are you just walking up? I suppose is the question.
I would be, as we are going, on the lookout for, like, great, there's signposts telling us we can't be here. Are there traps or other things that are like, you shouldn't be here and there will be consequences for you being here?
Please roll investigation if you would like to look into that.
I might go ahead and cast Detect Magic and also be trying to like look around and just see if there's any magical alarms or barriers or anything.
Okay.
I'll just cast it with a spell slot to like get it done quickly.
I'm going to bring you all over to a map.
Ooh.
See how this goes. You bring the detect magic up and sort of start to inch forward. Drada at, sort of, I think urgency hits you a little bit to sort of see what's inside, but, you don't, with a 2, at the very least, you haven't tripped anything yet on accident. But it is sort of, I think you might find yourself distracted as you're approaching this, because sort of on the surface of these sort of shattered walls in the courtyard, you see all sorts of not so great graffiti. Exaggerated fangs on like a circle, and sort of like fang face, and like undead creeps, and like there's all sorts of different like elementary / still offensive ways that people here seem to have decided that that this is like a graffiti area to hate on vampires. And it covers the gamut of things that fall into the propaganda. Like there's like eat this garlic, and it's like a little garlic grenade drawn into the wall, or there's like a big picture of a sun that just sort of like passively, like it doesn't even, it's almost just there as a statement to be like, vampires not welcome here. Sometimes you see graffiti with words accompanying it, sometimes you don't, but I think like in this moment with a 2 on investigation, it's just sort of like, in this moment, traps aren't the first thing on your mind. It's a lot of it is juvenile, but still.
I will now be getting a custom bracelet studded that says like #undead grief.
I'll probably walk up to Drada seeing all of this and just be like, "You okay?"
Fine enough. This is doable. I'm now worried about what's going to be on the inside. But people are stupid.
People are stupid. Don't pay attention to any of this. I know
I'll
that's
try.
yeah, I know that's hard, but we got your back.
To break into an old building?
Let's do it.
You're welcome to sort of walk. I'm going to just loosely walk the party forward as I narrate a few things, but you all start to enter this space as it just sort of has a number of pillars, and there's 2 doors with a sort of ruined desk or concierge area with a locked door behind it as well. There's all sorts of rubble here, and it looks like this place has fallen to quite a bit of disrepair, not just sort of through lack of care, but also varying degrees of vandalism, like things that have been shattered and broken on purpose. But what would you like to do?
I think Flint's probably gonna start cautiously proceeding up to some of the doors and trying to see if they're trapped or locked or anything.
Sure. Go ahead and roll an investigation for that door if you would like.
Is there anything on the concierge desk?
What? This door looks fine.
This door looks fine. You jiggle it and it is locked. You do know that. You look on the desk. It's a little bit higher than it's not really halfling size, but you sort of like peer up. It looks like a bunch of rubble and stone. Give me a perception check nonetheless, though.
Somebody might need to lift me up.
I'll give her.
Yep.
No, I hand you off to Clax.
Yeah, Clax just like puts you on top. You look down and you actually do like there's not a whole lot insofar as I would say like paperwork or records or like there's no like pens or supplies or anything like that. But you sort of look underneath the rubble and there is sort of like a glint of brass, like a brass plate, kind of rounded. You, without removing the rubble, you don't really know what it would be though.
Hey, come look at this. There's a brass plate down here.
I think I'll stay by where we enter just to make sure that the Tabaxi don't decide to actually like investigate closer.
Okay. You can give me a perception check just to keep watch.
Oh man.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a rough night.
everything seems fine.
Right.
Yeah, you look at the brass. I mean, those of you who are just sort of hovering, you see what Mouse is pointing out, but again, you'd have to remove all the debris. So if you want to go ahead and unearth it, I would say with Clax, whatever 18 strength, it would take like 5 or so minutes to kind of do all that, but you would have no problem lifting up.
You guys want me to get into that?
If you want to get into that, I'll help Flint with the door.
All right. I'll start clearing rubble.
Okay. As you're clearing the rubble and you're going for that door.
Yeah, this door's not trapped or anything. Might as well lock it.
I would say Flint, just as Clax is removing the rubble, your detect magic does go off as you start to see a little bit of like enchant. Like it was sort of not visible without a perception check because it was covered in rubble, but as it's being removed, you do see like a faint sort of glow from this metal. And as more debris is removed, you see kind of the shape of being unveiled of a kind of not destroyed, but a damaged automaton similar to the ones that you saw in the Burning Needle. The plate that you saw was sort of like the faceplate of one of the ones that you saw, that, and it seems to just sort of like be broken into, like one of its arms is missing, and there's a sort of like cavity where one of the rocks that must have fallen from the roof above, you sort of look up and there's a hole in the roof that sort of like pierced its chest plate, but it has a faint magic to it still.
Grab that brass faceplate thing. It's still a little magic.
Oh, sorry, it's coming from the whole automaton, not just the plate.
It's not just like a
Yeah,
piece.
the plate was what you first
Okay.
Mouse saw, but the entire thing seems to still be semi-magical.
Johnny, you can handle lockpicking now, right?
Yeah, because I really successfully got thieves' tools. As we all know, it was a really great, smooth interaction on all accounts.
And I'll maybe just try and take a look at this automaton and just see if I think it could be fixed or anything, or if it's too far gone.
Yeah, if you want to give me an Arcana check. Drod, are you trying any doors, or are you just waiting it out?
Hey, Flint, which door do you want me to try?
I mean, this one over here on the left isn't trapped, so...
Let's do it.
Do you have thieves' tools? Sorry, I don't actually remember.
That's a great question. I seem to remember eventually getting them.
I thought you did, but...
I know the bead dealer did not sell them to you. Maybe Alola gave you some? We'll say that you have some, because she was sort of...
I will trust your judgment.
Yeah, she was giving you thieves' cant things. We'll say she gave you some thieves' tools. So you can go ahead and roll that. I don't know how. Roll it somehow. It would be dexterity plus... If you just rolled a sleight of hand, then I think that would be exactly what you need to roll. Okay. You sort of, Flint, this is going to take you a few minutes as you're sort of starting to like poke around, reach into the sort of cavity and sort of inspect the pathways of magic in this, and sort of like over your shoulder you hear the sound of the door click as Drada, you know that you're that you have successfully unlocked it.
Cool. It's new. Do we want me to open this door, or do we want it?
Why would you unlock it if we weren't going to open it?
We seem to be all clear out here.
Thanks, Aesop. You're doing great work. I very hesitantly, and again, you said this wasn't trapped.
Look fine to me.
Magically. Hey,
it didn't have any magic to it. That is true.
I guess I'll slowly open a door, looking at what's behind it.
Cool. Give me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh yeah.
Flint might be a little distracted today.
Okay. You open the door without issue, but sort of like as you're doing so, you see like vines start to crawl out from underneath the door. You imagine if you had actually, like, whether you'd open this door or not, if you had stood there much longer, these vines would have reached out to grab you. But as you pull open the door and look down, you see like this sort of like red vine, a thorny vine, start to come towards you. It doesn't look like a trap, so to speak. Like you just sort of get out of the way, and it just sort of like wraps around a window. But it seems like it was pushing to get out of this door.
Everything okay back there?
There's a sentient vine that's trying to escape.
Oh. Didn't expect that. Okay.
Anyone who knows magic things better than me want to deal with this? That'd be cool.
I can look at it.
I mean, is it still coming for you, or is it just happy to get to the window?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like once you stepped out of the way, it wrapped around the first thing it could see, which was this sort of like windowsill, and now it's
so it's not actively.
It's not actively pursuing you. It was going in a direction, and then it stopped.
Cool, and it's also not like trying to escape this building and would make a large noise if it got out.
It doesn't seem to be.
Okay, sure.
It's like a very natural trap. Like it's just sort of nature bloomed in this area.
I'm gonna go see what the fuck's happening in this room, unless someone else wants to, and I can work on other doors.
Flint, you sort of poking around, you see there's definitely some severed connections in here, and without knowing sort of the exact make and like, if you took this home, you could study it to hell and possibly figure out what to do to give it a full repair. But what you see now, you see sort of a few. I would say, with your knowledge of Arcana, you see that one particular cord that is connecting the power source to the head, which would give it like basic operation, but in its still destroyed state. You would need to sort of not short circuit. You need to like jump start it with a first level spell, kind of like how you charged that one door early on in the campaign. But you know that you could reactivate this.
Guys, do you think this would be helpful to like chat with this robot? I think I could turn it back on if need be. It wouldn't be like super functional, but might be able to answer a few questions or something.
Do you speak robot?
I mean, I think robots, well, presumably this robot speaks common, or
do we know that they talk?
The one that was in you guys weren't there gambling. Flint and Drada saw the one being given commands by Spike, and it was talking about cards and whatnot.
Yeah, this would give us like it'd have basic greeting functionality or something, probably. Like it was probably here to do administrative type stuff as people showed up to get blood or give blood or something. I don't know.
I mean, it can't hurt.
What if it calls an alarm or is very loud?
True.
Part of me is inclined to fuck it, we should do it anyways. But
how heavy is this robot? Like, is this something we could drag inside a little further?
I mean, you're not going to do it, but it would. I mean, I think Aesop just to be leverage for Clax could probably hobble it in. It is not light. It's probably a good 600 pounds.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know. I
trust y'all's judgment. I mean, alternatively, if it misbehaves, whoops, a wire gets snipped.
I say we
I
take it
worry-
outside.
I worry it has the potential to be loud, and I'm not clear that I think it's going to have a lot of valuable information for us. So I feel like maybe we leave it unless we get stumped and then come back and talk to it.
Or do it on the way out when we're leaving anyway.
Maybe.
That's what I was thinking.
All right.
In the
So on this
meantime,
board-
Drada, you just sort of peering in this room with the little light that is sort of reaching inwards. You sort of peek inside, and it seems to be a sort of like a records room or like a library, but at first glance, it's not sort of like novels or biographies or anything. It seems to be like patient records, and you'd have to flip through, but a lot of it seems you're sort of making these judgments based on the signage. They're sort of like patient A to Z, or sorry, patient A to F, patient G to whatever. There's a number of shelves that sort of are empty, or sort of everything is a little bit like littered and scattered. There's a number of bookshelves in here that you could spend time flipping through, but that's just sort of at first glance what you're seeing.
My brain. My brain first goes to like, oh, does Cracks have a file here? Plus I don't remember in the timeline of things if he would have been here at a time when this was functional. But I guess, yeah, I would start flipping through, looking for Cracks, or honestly, like, looking for my parents' names and seeing if they come up. But I wouldn't take forever.
Okay.
What are your parents' names? I'll help you look.
How do I pronounce them?
That's a good question.
Hey. I'll get back to you. I tell you my parents' names I don't remember off the top of my head.
It's like Isilrak and
Yeah, Elsarak is my dad. And
these are really important
oh,
things.
is it EMSA? I
No.
think it's EMSA.
Oh yeah, EMSA. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put those in chat if you don't mind, just for notes' sake. Those are, of course, the first names. Go ahead and give me, I guess, investigation check, each of you. And then Mouse, Clax, Aesop, are you doing anything?
I'm just kind of keeping an eye out. Staying away from that vine, though.
Yeah, I would say Clax, you just sort of, I mean, you're getting an idea of why people were told to avoid this place, but knowing, seeing the graffiti around here, it's no surprise that people would find their way into this building anyway, especially in the college district, like people just looking for some kind of wall to write on. But you do know, you can sort of like give a sense of just unease and air, like a bad air that just sort of says danger in this spot.
Can I check in this direction of the building just to see if everything's on the up and up?
Which direction?
The opening, or is this a window? Over here.
Oh, that's just a open. That's the entrance. That's where you came in, actually, I think.
Oh, okay.
Or a second entrance. Yeah. Yeah, you're currently just sort of, this whole area that you and Mouse and Clax are in is sort of just a courtyard area. And you see, like, there are, I would say, just sort of at first glance, it's a courtyard / waiting room. There's a number of like ruined benches and whatnot. And you get the impression that this used to be also enclosed. like with a roof at some point that has completely been removed. Drada, with a 17, who are you prioritizing in this amount of time?
Probably Crex, then my mom, and then my dad.
Okay. And Flint, sort of like as you're investigating, I would say you're not really, you're sort of helping Drada, but also just giving it like the once over with detect magic before it wears off.
Yeah.
And you don't really, there's nothing kind of outlandish that you're able to discover with a 13. But you spend a good 15, 20 minutes just sort of flipping through books. You do not see anything that mentions Crex, but it's interesting to you because there's a particular book that is sort of covering the mid to high seas insofar as last names, and there are a couple of ripped out pages. You look into the ends to kind of find your family, and you don't find your mother, and you find like an early record of your father that sort of has a note attached to it that sort of was like he was at one point he was served blood here as a means of like quality control, but that he was not a regular customer here, sort of implying that he had other sources, but it may have been that he came here at some point. You see that it was sort of dated. Let me see, 1 second. I have something relevant here. Let me open it up. You see that it was dated in 811, the year of the rise, 811, which is some 25 years ago. I'd say actually Flint, I want to have each of you roll investigation one more time as you're just sort of flipping through this place. Sort of like things that you might have found on accident. Flint, with an investigation, you sort of, something catches your eye as a more like not administrative record, but a sort of like there's a book that has a cog on it, and it sort of catches your eyes like, oh, piece of machinery, and you open it and it seems to be a engineer's diary from an individual who may have helped to build this place. Why am I having trouble? Okay, I'm going to put it in chat, the kind of contents of it. It's longer than I thought it would be. But it has 3 kind of dates that it dialogue, like as you're flipping through it, these are the sort of 3 things that just sort of stand out as different notes that have been recorded in relation to the span of this building's life. And I'll put it in your inventory as well, Flint.
Okay.
As you're just sort of reading that, Aesop, with an investigation of 15, is there anything in particular you were looking for?
Oh, you just said have everyone roll, so I
Okay.
just rolled. Sorry, that's my
I'd
bad.
say no, it's totally fine. I would say like just sort of as you're wandering around and sort of pacing as your friends crowd into this other small room, you do sort of look under this other door, like you're just sort of like looking under it, and you don't see any kind of vines, and so like having seen the previous vine, you sort of look under the door and there's a little gap, and you're like, all right, that's probably safe. You don't think that this other door has any kind of traps, natural or otherwise.
You guys want to try this door? I don't see any vines.
Sure, I can open the door.
Okay, Mouse, have fun.
Yeah, I think
follows Mouse.
Oh, Drowdy broke up there a bit.
You say Mouse, have fun, and Drada will follow Mouse just in case.
I'm coming on over as well. And since I'm uneasy, I'm gonna go ahead and get my shield and axe just kind of at the ready.
Okay.
I assume you guys don't want me using the light stone?
I don't think it's gonna matter here, is my hunch.
Cool. I pull out my light stone flashlight so that I can see a little better. Guys, I found a room with more doors.
These are not doors. It's a door icon, but these are actually curtains. And as you sort of like open them just to sort of look around, it looks like a little infirmary with several sort of like shattered beds and whatnot. You do see another door here on the side, however. And there's sort of like this broken desk in the corner, and this entire room seems like it's been tossed over in many ways.
I'll go ahead and activate my axe as well, just to get some light as well.
Okay.
Guys, this
think
journal seems to indicate
reading-
there is probably some protective measures put in place. I'm not sure what I think
Yep.
that means, but definitely be cautious.
If you give me a second before you attempt things where you think you might be in danger, I can guide you.
That's so fair. I'm also now having read Jasper and Sebastian's notebook. Which also, are those names that trigger anything for me?
I would say roll history with advantage.
And if I should know this and I've just forgotten, feel free to judge me.
Okay. With a 16, you do know that Sebastian was a member of the Eclipse, and Jasper was his sort of like bodyguard slash partner in a variety of efforts. You know that like a lot of the context at which you heard about them was that they were missing and that they were expected to return back home some time ago. And I think with a 16, like there might have been more of them as well that sort of that were expected to come home. You just can't really remember other names.
Yeah, Drada's probably, having made that connection, takes a moment of a somber breath. Realizing like, oh, maybe this ain't more than just let's explore an abandoned ruin. Maybe this is explore someone I kind of know's grave. And that's a fun connection to make. Also, on reading that note, just reading the note of like alternative entrances and doors, Drada's getting real excited about curtains and seeing if there's something hidden and some deceptively obvious way in.
And you can roll another investigation if you're just sort of poking around this room.
These low rolls, man. Wait, boy.
We got the high ones out of the way.
We got here.
Clax, as you're sort of standing in that corner, there's nothing to really make of it, but you just feel, I think because you're Dragonborn, you feel heat from beneath you.
Like I'm just noticing it, or it's radiating warmer.
I think you're just noticing it.
Okay. Hey guys, what do we think's underneath here?
I don't know how this place works yet, but clearly there was something to it, or it could be just like whatever protective measures they put in place before they left, or...
Rada, do you keep blood warm or do you keep blood cold?
Body temperature?
How warm am I noticing the floor?
For it to be barely, I mean, it's. I think it's. Clax doesn't wear shoes. I mean, Mouse might actually feel this a little bit too. Now that I think about it, but it's just like for the heavy stone that you're on, it's not like the floor is turning into magma or anything. It just feels like baseboard heating or something.
Let's
guys-
see if we can find a way downstairs.
Hey, Dread, I do have a question.
Mhm.
Did you know the people that are named in the diary, Sebastian and Jasper? Did you tell us that, or?
No, I don't think I said that.
Then I'll ask.
I knew of them. We weren't tight. They've been missing for a long time.
Oh. Were any of them did any of them have magical means?
Yeah. Oh.
You are too young to actually know anything about them. Like you've never met them.
These are names I have heard many a time.
I see. I was just wondering,
And
in case we might be able to figure out what we're up against when it comes to these defensive protocols. But yeah.
yeah, I wish I could give you more information, but I can't.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it probably strikes Strata as odd that they would be involved in shutting down or in raising defensive protocols around this place, but it's hard to know much more beyond that.
Yeah. And now my brain is spiraling of like, oh no, what if they're not trying to keep people out? What if they're trying to... Let's not think about that. That's definitely not the problem.
Well, we have another door to get into.
We do. Before we leave, Drada's just gonna try, like, this is a dumb idea, but maybe. And just in undercommon speaks, just like, hello? Open. Like, do we got a fun voice command happening here?
Drata shouts to the air and nothing happens.
Hey, cool, that's what I thought. Other door.
Okay.
Or not? So which door? This door in here, or the one out in the main room?
Oh shit, there's more. Yeah, there's multiple.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Flint's gonna
Um,
take a look at this door and make sure it's not trapped and try and open it.
We're just doing a bunch of investigation checks.
So many.
Roll above a
You're gonna
one.
roll really high.
Hey, that's doing better.
Yeah.
It does not seem to be trapped. It does seem to be locked.
I will attempt to unlock it.
Do you have these
got
things?
this, buddy.
Oh yeah, of course you do.
I
Giant
have a
mask.
Can we get some guidance in there, maybe?
This log does seem more difficult than you'd expect, compared to the other lock that Drada sort of opened before. But it does eventually sort of, you get in there and give it the flint special, I guess, and are able to open it. One thing that you realize from this side is that there actually is a door. I don't know if I can show it. It occurs to you, just for flavor, that there is a door that is behind the bookshelf in the records room that leads into the same space. And this is also the same space that the sort of lobby area is leading into. And as you sort of peek your head inside, you see that there is a sort of stairway going down.
You guys
as well as a stairway going up, but you're pretty confident because you just look up and you see the bell. It seems to be just up into a bell.
Do one last peek outside before we make our way deeper in. If I can make another perception check, that'd be great.
Sure, please. We'll see if you make it or not, but
I know, Lord.
okay.
Attempt to make one.
Hey,
That's better.
You look out, and although you are only sort of understanding the Tabaxi patrol through second-hand information, you sort of look on the rooftops, and you don't see anybody in the immediate area.
I'll go in.
Okay. If you guys do walk downstairs, you should be led. Oops. You should go down to the next level.
Ooh, fancy.
that's so cool.
Oh. Wow.
As you sort of enter the space, there is a grated door here to the right, with sort of like long vertical iron bars, and it sort of has a rancid smell, and I will need everybody to make a Constitution saving throw as you're just sort of like in this space.
Oops. Oh, I'm a halfling!
There you go.
No. Oh no. This smells
I think
awful in
yeah,
here.
Yeah, Aesop, it is sort of like in this immediate time as you're sort of like, this is nowhere that you would have ever been in your life.
Nope.
But it smells just absolutely disgusting, and in this moment you are sort of under the poison condition. You feel like that is a sort of like you can get out of range of it, but this is just a smell that you cannot tolerate.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's not a lingering effect. You're not poisoned. It's just sort of like right here, you can't take it.
I see.
You look
I don't know how to take it
in,
off either.
Drada, you sort of take a look in, sort of peeking through the grates, and you see this sort of large, glowing furnace of sorts that has a sort of the heat radiating from it that Clax and Mouse may have detected from above. And just sort of looking, there's all of these pipes that are leading into this room. In this room, what you can gather is the chamber at which blood was once held in a pool underneath these grates. But just sort of like looking at it, suffice to say, the supply here has spoiled.
Congealed.
Yeah, and the scent is sort of like both that of semi-corroded pipes as well as sort of like goo being burned in small quantities by this furnace. You'd have to kind of go inside if you wanted to learn more about it, but that's just sort of the first, like, you look in there and it's very clearly where things were stored.
So I currently, with my magical tinkering, think I have flashlights provided to Mouse and Aesop. And Klax doesn't really need one anymore. So I'm going to use my third magical tinkering thing to make a small object that emits an odor perceivable up to 10 feet away. And make, I don't know, something that smells like lavender or something. And hand it to Aesop.
My God, it's like a just me with my just sniffing.
Okay.
Does it help?
Yeah.
I don't. It's
Roll-
not a very powerful ability, but
Okay.
We'll say re-roll that saving throw. Let's see if
Oh wow. Okay.
it's sort of like is a tug of war of your senses.
Yeah, really.
Oh.
sorry. I guess I could have done it on like a handkerchief or something.
Well, I think you sort of like tuck it into your bow, and sort of like leave it there to spit scent into your nose. And it's you can still sort of smell it, but it is a hands-free solution to your problem.
I like removed the hand that was on my nose. I'm like, wow. Okay. Thank you. That's an awful smell. I don't know how y'all are doing it normally.
It doesn't sound great, but
But as you guys are just sort of in this landing underneath the stairs, if everybody could just sort of give me a perception check. This might be the most dice heavy session that we've done.
Woo. Oh, did I didn't go through. Sorry, I thought mine clicked.
Nope, all good.
There we go.
Mine should not be performance, charisma.
Oh, all good. It's a natural.
Oh,
I mean, I think you're getting over a 20 then, because with the real modifiers.
I had 10.
Yeah. you're
also,
fine.
I rolled twice and I didn't see my first roll, so sorry.
Okay. Well, nonetheless, you were all. I think Klax and Flint are just sort of like. I guess you can tell me how Klax and Flint are feeling right now, as you're just sort of like investigating this space. You don't really see anything outside of the ordinary.
Klax is still very uneasy. Since he got the axe out emitting the light, he definitely has a shield on his other arm, just kind of just trying to pay attention, but the smell's not great. Didn't really bother him, but it's definitely not enjoyable. Doesn't think there's a lot going on, so he's just kind of, I don't know, just waiting to see if he can kick a door in.
Yeah, there is a door in front of you that you do see. However, down here, this door seems to be like a sort of vault door, so to speak, a heavy iron circular door. And Flint.
I think Flint's maybe just a little distracted and still sort of thumbing through that journal, just kind of thinking about what's written there and things before maybe realizing he should pay attention and putting it away or something. But
Okay. Drada with a higher number than 15. Aesop and Mouse, as you're sort of in the space, it is eerily quiet still. You do see sort of in this other room with the furnace that there is sort of like a book propped up against this sort of like iron barrel that seems like it was left there in some way. Otherwise, you really don't see anything in here, and you don't, and specifically, you don't hear anything, which is sort of a good sign, you think.
It'd be very game to try to unlock this here door and investigate what's inside.
Okay, I'll guide you.
Thanks.
Thieves' tools. Well, sorry. Let me clarify. This is an iron grate door. There's no keyhole. But so actually, what you see is a lever to the side. And I think taking your role is sort of like investigating, being able to figure out that this lever sort of connects to this door. And with a sleight of hand, you see that it is a little rusted, but you're able to sort of like chisel away a little bit of that rust and know that it can be pulled down to open this.
Actually, wait, no, before I do so, hey, I want to make sure I'm not going to die when I pull this.
You can roll investigation if you like.
You love so many rolls.
So many rolls.
Looks fine.
Well, great, let's do it.
I'm just gonna stand on the opposite end of the room just in case. Apple trust.
I need everybody to roll a dexterity saving throw.
Yeah.
I'm not good at these.
Flint and Aesop take half of this damage. It's not a lot, but you feel, so 3 damage if you're half, 7 if it's full. You feel not only does the door start to open, but you feel a sprinkler system of sorts start to go off as you start to be like burned with radiant energy. Some kind of like holy water sprinkler system you seem to have triggered some kind of like cleansing of this space or purification system in this space, as you start to feel like your skin burn.
Okay, so this is more than just holy water for us. This is...
Well, I mean, you don't know what it is, but there's a sprinkler of radiant water raining on top of you. And it goes for like, I think the dexterity save is sort of as you guys pile into the room, because it sort of triggered within this landing room. The dexterity saving throw is like how much time it takes you to get into safety. Eventually you do enter this room and see that whatever water reservoir is inside that stairway landing, that it does eventually dry up. I don't know why I rolled the 2d6 as Aesop, but ignore that.
Oh, yeah, I just realized.
What the heck is this thing?
Is it emitting light?
Yes, it is. And this is definitely the source of the heat that you were feeling from before. You're probably the only person who can stand this close to it because it is hot to the touch.
Like, do I have any idea what it is? Like, since putting off heat? Not that I would, but just figure I ask. Like, do I recognize this at all?
You can give me an Arcana check. I know it's Ace.
Oh god. Sure.
Hey, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know, but what you can tell, just sort of looking under the grates, is that kind of like a radiator, that the pipage from the sort of congealed blood below sort of pipes through this. And it seems like you would sort of guess that this is sort of something that helps with, I would say like preservation almost. It's whether it's like keeping the blood at the correct temperature or something along those lines, that it sort of served a purpose of warming the blood as it traveled through these pipes. And you do get the sense, though, as well, that a degree of this heat seems to be radiant heat. But in this device, it's both sort of fire-based and radiant-based.
You guys, this is kind of odd. Like there's definitely heat from like fire in here, but there's also seems to be like some holy stuff going on, and I don't know what's going on, but nice and toasty. You guys want to get closer? It's alright.
Yeah, it's really warm over there.
And
I mean,
Clax,
like,
there's this book that is sort of set against what seems to be like a metal barrel of sorts that seems to be closed, but there's a book set atop it.
Anybody like reading?
Yeah.
Well, we've had some questionable experiences with books. Should we be intelligent about who attempts to read this?
I mean, I could take a look at it. I can comprehend the language if it's a language that no one else can read.
Fox just grabs it, hands it to Aesop.
Okay. Yep. Got the
That's
necromancy
definitely not
book, and I
looking
got
over your
this. Mm-hmm. Very fitting. It makes sense. I'll
Or
open.
throws it to him, whatever.
I'll open the first page.
You're dead. No. You've loosely thumbed through it, and it does seem to be written in a language that you don't understand. It does have, like, for lack of a better word, like Roman characters. It's not in a but it seems to be sort of like words that are nonsensical to you.
I am going to make an assumption that it might be undercommon based on where we are, so I'll hand it to Drada.
Yeah, cool. Thanks. Do I understand these words?
Yes, it is undercommon.
Great. Stop, you're right. It sure is. Congrats.
I am going to put the text in the chat, and then we're going to switch to a break so that you can A, read it, and B, so that we can all use the bathroom. But what you sort of open, first of all, you discern that it is another sort of ledger of some sort from this individual named Jasper. But this seems to be entirely in poems. So, oops. Apparently Flint is reading it out loud in a scroll fashion way. So go ahead and take a few minutes, read that. Let's take a break. And then we can discuss any sort of theories you have when we get back.
That's good.
So, Clax, is you, or not Clax, Drada, are you reading out these poems, being the undercommon speaker, as you sort of flip through it?
Yeah.
I'd say that it's not a book that has one page in it with 3 poems. It has a bunch of other things in it that are sort of described. Like, if there's something that you think Jasper might have talked about in such a document, like there's a variety of things, but what stands out in this like little journal is that there's just sort of these 3 poems that are kind of like kept apart from the rest of everything else. They're very out of place, and that's sort of, as you're flipping through it, you're just like, huh.
Okay, we got a rhyme scheme, everybody. This went from instructional to artistic very quickly.
I don't know. I paid attention when you were listing off like each line, how there was a specific color in the first 2 stanzas, if you want to call it, that was mentioned. That's what I noticed.
Weren't the different schools of magic associated with colors?
Yes, which was the second thing I was going to bring up. Elements seem to be heavily imagined in this poem, which is fascinating.
They sure do. I mean, my brain maybe went a little more literal. Just, I don't know. Thinking I'm reading about the Verdant Way in like a destination, and that these people are missing. So maybe that's where they are. I mean, Beneath the Golden Sun makes me think if it's a vampire writing this, it's somewhere on the surface. But where shadows take flight, I don't know. Like maybe that's the city wall. Like
Yeah, the
that's
palace.
the marble walls or the palace. Just given where shadows take flight and a pearly portal. I mean, when I think of pearly, like there's giant pearlescent marble walls out there.
These are structured as 3 separate poems, right?
Well, yeah, there's the divider between them all, and they're on different pages. I would add.
And then the last strata, I think it also might be useful to send this information back home. If
you're not wrong about that.
If your like community knew about them, or at least was a part of the community you're in, they might be able to decipher this way better than we can.
I mean, I'm happy to try. I don't know if I want to try and take the time while we're down here necessarily, but yeah, that's fair. Now I'm interpreting this too much. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too literally. But
So it's a book of poems, but can we just go see what's behind the vault? I don't know what the poems have to do with the vault, but
I mean, I think we can. I'm just curious. Like, I'm trying to look around and think. Okay, so like, this is the space where blood was stored. Is this also the space where blood was consumed? Like, am I seeing that like things around the walls, or am I getting the vibe that just this is just like a treatment and storage room?
I would say, based on Clax's earlier Arcana check, and just sort of without having to roll for it, that this seems like it was a treatment and storage room, and that this is where a lot of when Hardhold talked about how there were donation centers all across continents, this is sort of where it all fed into through the pipe system. Additionally, you do see, you sort of think about it in the other room where the sprinklers went off. there was like a little tap, and you imagine that is sort of where, if somebody needed to make a withdrawal, so to speak, that that they would have been collected downstairs and perhaps brought up in from the infirmary, or into the infirmary.
Like, are the pipes? And sorry, I'll stop asking, but then we can open a big vault and see what's behind a big vault. Like you mentioned, corrosion. Like, these pipes are beyond repair.
I don't know. I think like Flint would need to take a few minutes to really discern what the deal is. I don't know that. I mean, Drada, you sort of look at it and it's just like you don't even really know what's going on here.
Yeah,
in
I
that
mean, I
regard.
think Flint is in just absolute like awe of the scale of this, and definitely just engrossed in trying to look at things and figure out how it all works, and what the state of things are,
Mhm.
etc.
Go ahead and give me an Arcana check as you're sort of looking in this room.
I'll burn a what you call it on this.
What you call it?
Flash of genius.
Okay. I would say that with, I think, an 18 now.
Yeah.
You look at the sort of like tank that is next to the anvil that Klax is sort of sitting on, and you look inside of it and sort of so you notice a lot of things. First, as far as just overall integrity of this place is concerned, you feel that the corrosion could probably be flushed out reasonably well if this place was given a good scrubbing. You don't really know much about how this magic works per se to keep like through this furnace, like exactly what is happening to purify or keep the blood preserved. You're not quite sure about that, but you do, like, the place is functioning if it wasn't sort of clogged up with like there must be some kind of blockage within it, is what you imagine happened to get this place in the state that it is in now. And you look at the sort of tank that Klax is sitting next to, and it has like just one thing that you sort of pick out of it. It's sort of like a metal and glass tank that you also see it has some kind of like wooden lining on the inside. And there's something familiar about the wooden lining, but you're not quite sure what it is with an 18.
So it's metal and glass on like the outside.
Yeah.
The inside is.
Yeah, you sort of like peek over the top, like because the outside is opaque, but you sort of peek over the top and there's like a glass window looking inwards, and you see that there's like a second inner layer that is wood.
Does it look like this is something that like should have liquids and things flowing into it, and it's just empty right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
And currently, this doesn't. It actually looks relatively clean. Like this was not storing blood in the moment of this whole thing shutting down. You think if you spent more time down here, you might. I think like without knowing maybe what's behind the vault and whatnot, you feel like the infrastructure is still here. You're not really sure what's happening down the pipes.
Mm-hmm.
What it would mean for like the donation centers and all that. But like, assuming that this magic can be reinstated, it seems like the infrastructure is here to get all the liquid moving.
Yeah, guys, this place looks pretty like in pretty good shape to me. Really, like I can't say for sure till we see everything, but it seems like we could get it back up and working.
Does it feel like it's in too good shape?
I
Is
mean,
that a weird question to ask?
Like, it certainly needs, some sort of cleaning or flushing or something. Like, it's clogged and, hasn't been used in a while, but it's also, there's a lot of magic here, so the fact that it's in good shape isn't that surprising to me.
I mean, I'm happy to hear it, and I'm also now concerned that we might not be as alone as we think we are. So maybe I'm just getting stressed out over nothing, and nothing bad will be behind that vault. Everything will be fine.
What do you think would be behind the vault? Because I already don't have a good feeling about this place. So what are you concerns behind the vault?
I have literally no idea. I mean, because I'm like, this is the space where we stored the blood. So my thought would be like, oh, sure, blood is like the main reason why this place exists is to come collect and store blood that is compiled from across the city. This seems to be the storage room. Why is this not the most precious cargo? Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, maybe the magic that kind of makes it all work or something is hidden behind the vault. Like, there's some stuff here, but it's certainly not everything.
Only one way to find out, I guess.
We go kick the vault walls in.
Maybe we start with a gentler approach.
It'll probably be trapped if it looks like a vault. So you might have to look out for that too.
Can you put a cover over the sprinkler?
I think it ran dry.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're pretty
Okay,
confident
yeah.
that it's disabled, so to speak. Okay. Well, you head into the other room to look at the vault. Again, it is a heavy-looking door. As your party members with light come in. It's a pretty heavy looking door, and it has sort of like the bank safe look to it. It has like one of those big wheels that would require quite the muscle to turn, regardless to what is behind the door. And at sort of its face, you don't really see any kind of like embellishment or decor or anything on the wall. It's pretty flat and smooth and plain, but heavy.
Hey, Clax, have fun.
All right.
I mean,
You made the sound.
let's maybe check this door out a little before we just try and crank on it. Maybe.
But you just told me to have fun, and it's been a long couple days.
Roll athletics. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I mean, you go for it.
Hey.
27.
You start yanking on it, and it gives, and it you strain against it for just a moment, before it eventually jolts open as whatever rust that you unleashed from the inner mechanism gives way. You feel that it, with a 27, you feel that some kind of pressure is building. As you sort of release your hand, the wheel is still turning.
Well, that's interesting. I just say that out loud.
Should we get upstairs, Clax?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Yeah, Drada's gonna get on the ceiling right near the stairs, just in case he needs to grab people and hoist them up onto the stairs and get them heading out.
Who goes where in the first 6 seconds?
I'm heading up the stairs.
Lax just raised his shield and axe when the door keeps spinning. He's ready for a fight.
Okay.
Flint's gonna make his shield robot on the stairs somewhere and shield everybody.
I'm gonna get closer to the stairs, but I don't want to start up the stairs because I'm slow, and so I don't want to be in the way.
Yeah, Drada's on the ceiling, like right next to the stair hole, essentially, ready to grab
you're right
Mouse
next to me.
and throw Mouse up.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your shield for.
You're just ready to grab.
Where's it is?
And then I need everybody who. I'm going to give Drada advantage, but anybody who's on the. Well, I'm going to give Drada advantage because you're on the ceiling, and I'm going to give Clax advantage because you braced for it. But I need Flint and Mouse to. Flint, Mouse, Drada, and Clax to all roll strength saving throws.
I did try to like put my turret like up on the stairs a little bit, so it was hopefully
it can catch Aesop.
And you said with advantage for
For
Clax.
yeah, because you braced and Drada.
Oh boy.
All right, 18.
Guys, I'm really strong.
You sort of, as you brace and you see the pressure building, you start to feel like a small bit of water spray on your face, Clax, as the seal starts to sort of spray high pressure water as the door sort of flies open, and this gushing of sort of like a swimming pool's worth of water completely encases this room. I'm going to say that Flint and Mouse are going to suffer 17 bludgeoning damage. That was a high roll. As this as the water pushes you back and you sort of slam your head against a wall. Drada, you're sort of able to just sort of maintain your grip on the ceiling, and Clax, you plant your feet strong. Aesop, you just hear the sound of like a rushing river beneath you down the stairs as this entire chamber is the water will like eventually sort of equalizes as it drifts into the neighboring room and starts to sort of drain and combine with the congealed blood. But as the sort of water rushes forward, you just sort of see this like soaked, wet atmosphere all around you, and the door is open.
What happened?
There was water
Everybody
behind
did
the
get
door.
We said we needed to flush the system. We flushed the system.
Okay, is everyone doing fine?
I mean, it's not super comfortable.
I'm fine.
Do I need to pick up either Mouse or Flint off the ground with the water equalizing?
You can.
I'll pick up Mouse if you want to pick up Flint.
I got Flint.
In the room, as the doors open, you do see that there are sort of like soft lights in there, some kind of like ever burning, permanent, not heat based fire that is lighting the interior of this room. But you just sort of like peek inside and see a series of hallways and whatnot. And I think it's sort of what catch Flint's eyes right away is that this is sort of like a workshop. There are a number of like anvils that are bolted to this like heavy metal floor. There are these like what are clearly inactive furnaces, especially with however much water was in here just a second ago. But just sort of like from peeking in, there are you just sort of have that vibe of like a workshop area. You'd have to sort of step in and investigate further if you wanted to learn more.
Now that I have
Definitely.
Flint, okay.
Yeah.
Kind of wade in.
Yeah. At this point, the water between the room that it flooded into and the room that you're in now, you're sort of all walking in a perpetual puddle, but nothing that would keep you from moving comfortably.
Okay,
And
so I can put Flint down then.
Yeah.
I noticed one of Mouse's sticks on the ground that came out of her hair, and I'm like, oh, here you go. This fell out of your hair.
Thanks. Just shoves it back in somewhere.
I think Flint is very interested in this workshop, but is really trying to figure out why the heck this room would have just been full of water.
You can roll a history check, Flint.
History check.
I'll say with advantage.
Ooh. That's good, because first one wasn't amazing. A little better.
Yeah. A 14, I think, is good enough. You're connecting dots that some of what you've heard about vampires is running water, holy water, things of that nature are generally seen as dangerous to them.
Okay.
And so you just sort of like do mental math and is like, all right, well, if the rumors are true and a vampire was hit with that much water, that'd probably kill them. I
Interesting.
think Draughty probably occurs to you as well. More passively. I don't think you have to roll for it.
Adriana just quietly mutters, just like, thanks, Mom. Like, thank you for not making me a full vampire in this moment, because I would be deceased.
Flint, as you're sort of stepping in, you see kind of like there's like these anvils that are set up, and then against the far corners of the wall, there's almost this like a vertical metal Iron Maiden looking thing. There are these sort of like large containment vessels of some kind.
Are they closed or open?
Yeah, they look closed. At least this one does. I mean, you'd have to sort of explore this entire space, but that's just sort of one that you've seen.
Well, that's creepy. Scary.
There's definitely not something inside.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to touch that yet.
Yeah, I mean, as you're just sort of like softly patrolling through the space, it has this on the scale of a workshop. It has some dimmed forges, various anvils, bellows, sort of whetstones, sort of all that somebody would need to do metalworking down here in it, like probably less so flux and sort of materials like that, sort of like, but the hardware is here to do some really heavy machinery work.
I think this is where like pipe infrastructure may have been built.
Maybe? I mean, this is certainly a big, impressive workshop, but pipes on that scale, I don't know if you could have done them down here.
I would say yes, Strata, but looking at these Iron Maidens, I'm not so sure.
I would love to also scan the room, 1, for traps, and 2, for, oh, did anyone leave some cool shit behind? Because that would be fun.
Sure. Do you want to give investigation? I would say, just for the record, every investigation roll is not a glance. It's like, and saying this for Clax's patience sake, every time somebody rolls investigation, it's like a good 10 minutes of touching the walls and the sort of like time is passing as you sort of look around here. With the 17, you do actually see a pressure plate that seems to be in front of what is a door down here. You sort of like detect the plate, but with a 17, you don't really know what it's connected to. He just sort of strikes you as like, oh.
I think while Drada's doing that kind of like look around, Flint might just sit down and ritually cast Detect Magic just to get a sense of anything else that might be going on here. Looking pretty hard at those Iron Maidens in particular.
Also, quick question: are like these half circle structures like are those the forges?
Those are the forges, yeah.
Okay.
Ritually casting is another 10 minutes.
I was
You're doing it
trying
at the
to
same
do that
time, yeah.
while Drada was
Fair enough.
doing the look around.
Mouse, Aesop, Clax, anything while they sort of peek around?
Yeah, can I see if any of the forges have been used recently? Just if there's been like any like activity here.
Sure. You can roll investigation.
Similarly, I was going to ask if, because I don't think of forges as particularly clean places, if there were any footprints and what kind of size or shape they were in.
Okay. You can roll, I would say, survival for that one. And then Clax.
At this point, he's just kind of checking out the forge to see if there's any equipment on him. But he's kind of getting impatient, not feeling comfortable. Really just wants to get out of here. Sees that door. He's really eyeing up that door. Just doesn't want to flood everybody out again.
Okay. I would say, without making a roll, there's nothing of just sort of like stuff to take other than a few like hammers lying around and things like that. So you could load up on sort of like light hammers if you really felt like it. Mouse with a 17 survival, given that this place was just flooded, a lot of the evidence of anything that would be like sticking footprints is really difficult to discern. I would say just sort of you imagine that based on the general construction of this place that you would expect. Trying to think of something useful to give you. I don't know that there's.
It doesn't have to be anything useful.
Yeah. I think that this place is made for people who are bigger than you. This is what you kind of get out of it.
Don't say.
And Aesop, you were, remind me.
Use of recent activity with the forges.
Oh, sure.
Like, I imagine. Well, I don't know where the water was, but I imagine not all of the forges may have been affected by the water. So,
Well, I would say with an investigation 18, what you're actually gathering is that this entire chamber was full of water a minute ago, from floor to ceiling.
Got it.
Like this was a full-on aquarium in here a second ago. So the
Wow.
forges have definitely been inactivated. These lights, whatever they are, seem to be perpetually burning. And there doesn't seem to be any evidence that the forges had been used recently. Flint, as your detect magic goes off, you do sense that the Iron Maidens, which as you sort of walk around, there are a number of them, that they are all sort of like churning with a abjurative energy.
Nope. Or no.
Yeah, those make me nervous.
Probably that pressure plate, just 1 foot down, boop, activates them all.
Ooh, that's a good point. I am gonna re-up our protection, at least for Mouse and I.
Thank you.
Oh, that's pretty good. And that's on everyone?
Yep.
13 is these ceilings, so.
So, Lynn, are we thinking that this place was behind a vault for the fact that this was an important forge, or what's in these lovely caskets lining the walls?
No, I don't know, but I'm worried they're holding something in. And Iron Maidens, don't scream nice things. So let's be real cautious. As we look
Want me to stay
around, we
real-
just see this one door.
Yes.
And that's what I'm in front of right now, right?
The pressure.
Technically, that's the pressure plate. I
That's the
assume you're not
pressure plate,
stepping
yes.
on it.
Oh, okay. All right.
But yes, that's
Sorry.
the door. Plax is just like, screw this.
Is this the
No,
pressure plate
no,
I'm
no,
standing on?
No, I do remember him saying that. Sorry.
I felt the floor drop a little bit. What was that?
Well, what would you guys like to do?
Should we try to disarm the trap?
Just for curiosity, can I stand the space next to the pressure plate, take the half of my axe and pound on the door and see if it sounds like there's something on the other side, like water?
You can, yeah. It is a sort of metal door, not a big vault before. You pound on the door, and I would say it sounds like the clank of metal. It doesn't sound like a sort of, I don't know how to describe it. It doesn't sound like there's water on the other side. It sounds like an
One
echo
last
chamber
thing.
in there.
Do we see anywhere where the water came into this room when we were all walking around looking?
Yeah, I guess I would say with Aesop's prior investigation, there are a few sort of like pipes, like the one I just pinged, that that as you're sort of just like, you see like drips of water coming out of them. But the water is no longer flooding in. It seems like it was sort of, the water was pushed into this room and then shut off, perhaps.
Okay. A question I'm assuming the answer is no to. The pipes are too small for like a person to get inside.
Yes, correct.
Cool. The other thought is before we do anything, I would love, in a room potentially surrounded by fun friends and abjurative magic, cast primeval awareness and see if we are in fact surrounded by the undead.
Can you put it in chat one more time?
I got
I'd
you.
like to. I was kind of, there's specifics that I always forget. Okay, so it's a yes or no. I think I previously ruled that I would tell you what it was, because there was instances
Yeah,
where
you
I
have
told you.
ruled. You tell me yes, and then or no, and then what the thing
Yeah.
is.
You sense an undead presence.
Cool. Definitely picking up undead vibes, everybody.
But not elemental.
Mental, just undead.
That's given the amount of like water and whatever else. That's
One thing we check off the list.
yeah. And I don't know.
Is the water from that pipe a valve where we can turn it on and off, or just is there like nothing coming out of it anymore?
It does have a valve on it, but currently it's just dripping. And it seems to be in the open position already.
Yeah.
Can I take a look at this pressure plate and just try and see if I can tell what it does?
Sure. Clax, give me a perception check also, and then Flint, investigation check.
Roll well. Roll well. Nope.
Why say that? Investigation to figure out what it is. It seems that the pressure plate, all you can really discern is sort of like you peek under it. You need a really thin sort of tool or something to disable it. But you do see like a series of wires going into and up the walls. And I say with an investigation 16, at least with the sort of like, let's say that this wall right here, if you can see the ping, which is next to the Iron Maiden, but not going into it. You do see this little like box, or like a little, like a cavity or a screen or something, that it is going into, that's sort of like high up on the ceiling.
Hey, a thought. Do we does the door what are the is the door, does it have a handle? Is there a knob? Is there a lock?
There is a. This is a metal door with a handle on it, and there is a. No, there is no sort of like locking or keyhole or anything like that for this door.
I would love to walk up a wall onto the ceiling and try to kick the door in from above.
Sure. Go ahead and give me an athletics check. It is a iron door, so.
Yeah.
Can I guide you before you attempt to break your foot on a metal door?
Thanks, that'd be cool.
You're guided now.
Wait, use an athletics check.
A plus at least one. For 1d4.
What do I roll for guidance?
Yeah, just 1d4.
Oh, great.
A. You sort of like spider climb up the wall, kind of like rear kick like a horse or something, from a weird angle, and the door sort of shatters open, hitting a. It doesn't open up all the way, like it opens up like 80% of the way before it bounces off of something that is sort of behind the door, probably in ways that don't make sense engineering wise, but you do sort of look in from, and it seems like there are. I'm going to move you in just for the sake of sight. You see a number of levers.
Did you also turn on dark vision?
Oh, I should do that. Yes. There are a. You should have it actually. Hold on, I'll figure it out. There are a.
It's all good. I trust your judgment.
Yeah. Weird. I'm just going to give you a light for the time being while I figure it out. There are a number of levers in here that seem to be on all of the walls, or like in all of the corners of the room. You do note just from, well, actually, if you're with dark vision, you can't actually, that's actually kind of all you see at the moment.
There's a whole bunch of levers in the corners of the room. There seems to be 5?
6, I think.
Wait,
No,
am I
5.
doing the math wrong?
No, 5, you're right. I was counting your token because I'm dumb.
I have a lever. Body is a simple machine. Yeah, it seems to be a room with a lot of very large levers in it. If people want to jump across the pressure plate, come on in.
I think I would.
Yeah,
I think I would attempt.
Yeah, it's a 5-foot jump. All of you can do that without issue if you want.
Woo!
With actual light in here, because for some reason I couldn't figure out how to get dark vision to work. You do see colors on these levers. You see a. What am I looking for? You see a ruby. These are sort of like on the handle of the lever. There's sort of like a gemstone encrusted all of them that are sort of softly glowing. Just sort of like a passive light that is like a backlight from each of these gems on the head of the lever. You see a ruby, a diamond, a sapphire, a topaz, and an emerald.
Sorry, ruby, diamond, topaz, sapphire, and emerald?
Yes.
I mean, it fits the colors of the first stanza at least.
Testing my gemstone colors in my mind. Alright, yep, I was right. Okay.
if we, someone have the book, we could just quickly open up.
I got you.
If we go in order, at least from starting with the first stanza, it would be Topaz, Diamond, Ruby,
Home, where you seen Diamond?
Diamond, Pearl.
I think
Or
Pearl would
Pearlite.
be the Topaz, wouldn't it?
Topaz is more like
Yellow.
yellow.
Topaz is a more yellowy color.
Okay.
In this context.
Okay, all right.
And then Sapphire and ending with Emerald. But it's interesting because you could also make the argument that in the second stanza there's also another color variation in there as well.
That would be
Topaz.
ruby, emerald, sapphire, topaz, diamond.
Yeah.
Do you think the colors operate like the levers operate independently? Like, does the ruby thread so tight? Like, is that single line triggered by pulling the ruby one? Would the sapphire show us how to get out of here?
I almost wonder if these are 3 different patterns for pulling the levers, and maybe this is what you were saying. Like, if we do Topaz, Diamond, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, maybe it provides
Opens
us
a way.
a hidden pathway up to the surface or something. If we do whatever's in the second one, maybe
Treasure room?
treasure room, or like just like, I don't know, the controls or how this place functions or something secret.
I worry about the line
one.
with each lever's grace, a celestial flight, the protector's yield, pulled all at once in your might.
Treasures grace.
I don't think we're keen to wake up any Iron Maidens.
Protector's yield.
Yeah, Celestial Flight, that could be interpreted as definitely bad for us. Seeing as how a lot of things are holy down here to keep vampires out.
Well, do we want to start with the third one then? Pull everything all at once to see if we disable the Iron Maidens or whatever could potentially be in there since you found undead presence?
Yeah, there's some undead presence here, that's right.
So we think we just pull them all at once?
Seems like an option.
Yeah. The question is it 3 separate options or is it one? You get one go and you pick which path you go.
Yeah.
I think if we have to choose, the verdant way beckons hidden from sight might be the most useful to our long-term goals.
Well, I mean, maybe, unless whatever we need to make this place actually function and work is hidden behind whatever the second stanza is, but
The first one would give another way for people to get in here, though.
yeah. Maybe we,
I also go for it, Lynn.
I'm gonna say maybe we try the first one, and if a bunch of baddies start coming for us, we pull everything all at once.
Everybody roll me a wisdom saving throw, if you don't mind.
Oh, no.
DC is 15.
Wow, that's a high
Was that
number.
everybody?
Not 2 ones.
Thank God for lucky this session.
Yeah, I've rolled one twice and gotten it re-rolled.
I don't think you can Flash of Genius this.
I was gonna say,
This is
it
like,
just feels like a weird one to use that on.
yeah.
Is this just that we're taking too long to talk and you're punishing us? Because I would love that for you.
As you're sort of having this conversation, you hear from this wall, you hear like a blood quenching scream, like blood curdling scream, that kind of shakes you guys to your bones, and then you hear just sort of like hammering on the door. What sort of reveals itself a little bit as a door, although there's no door handle, no nothing. You just sort of see like a kind of outline of a metal plate that is starting to like shake and reverberate. And I would say Clax, Flint, and Drada, you are all suffering from the frightened condition from whatever is behind that door in this moment.
You guys want to pull all the levers?
Yeah, if this thing is gonna keep frightening
Yeah,
us.
it's just pounding on the door incessantly.
Sean, we can't hear you.
I'll do it.
Sorry, I said I can't move towards the door because I'm frightened, so I'll move towards this one in the back.
And it's just a metal plate.
Yeah. What it appears to be, just sort of looking at it, it's like it must be a hidden door of some kind. But the nature of it being pounded on has sort of revealed it.
Can anyone run closer to it?
I can.
I'll be next to you, Mouse.
Well, okay.
Yeah, you can just
3,
stand next
2,
to the lever.
1.
You don't have to.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, and we all pull the levers, I guess. I hope.
Oh, wait. On one? Or one in the pool? Are we starting at 1 going to 3? Oh, sorry.
1 and pull.
Okay, 1 and pull.
All right. These are heavy levers.
Oh, gosh.
We're not gonna pull them all at once.
But in this sort of moment of panic, you all pull. I do need a athletics check from everybody.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I haven't looked down yet. Can I wheel myself?
Sure.
Because I know I'm bad at this.
I was gonna say, I feel like Flint's gonna like pull a rod out of his bag and use it as leverage or something in Flash of Genius.
Sure.
It was a good try, Mouse.
I was like, oh wait, it's lower than helpful.
The DC may have been 5.
The DC was not 5.
Damn it.
It was 6.
9?
Everybody except for Clax. You struggle against these rusted levers that have been sort of in the water for some amount of time. Clax, you manage to just sort of, in your frightened, panicked state, pull it, and it immediately shoots back up into a passive position as you start to hear different sort of like metal containers opening from outside the room.
What color stone was mine? Just so I know.
Say what?
What color stone was that lever?
That is the ruby one. So I'm gonna just request an initiative. We'll see how this goes.
Oh.
I'll say for
Rada, you
the,
have an extra D8.
Thank you.
insofar. Let me edit Drada's with that. You all hear the sound of containers bursting open from the outside for the purposes of your guys's. Sorry, I'm adding other things to initiative. Don't worry about it. For the purposes of being frightened, if you exit this room, you know that you'll sort of like be outside of the sphere of the frightening effect. But let's go ahead and just sort of give these a few rolls. Let's see how it goes.
I mean, he did say to clear out this place, right? No.
Drada, immediately outside the door. I don't know. I don't know if dark vision is. I don't know if dark vision's failing entirely. I might have to turn on some lights. You do see this construct step out of the whatever containment vessel it was in. It has a single glowing red eye and a sort of like pulsing radiant energy coming out of its hand as it sort of turns its head towards you. You're technically tied, but oh no, you're first on the tiebreakers.
How tall are the ceilings?
I would say about 10 feet. These creatures seem to be quite large, not large enough to take up 4 squares, but they are like 7 feet tall. So their ability to reach the ceiling is pretty easy.
So wait, am I?
Yes, it's your turn, Drada. Sorry.
Cool. Great. Is there any way to bar this door?
You can close it if you'd like.
Yeah. Is there? I'm trying to my brain goes to is there an anvil right nearby or inside or anything I can use to just lock us in essentially? Because I'm happy to shoot at these people, but I'm scared.
Immediately looking around, you know that you can close the door, but it wasn't really it has a hinge that it had kept it in the closed position before, but it was not locked in any way. If you have something that you wanted to put in front of the door, you certainly could. But there's nothing really object-wise that you can move in here.
Great,
if we're able to keep this door open, I bet they can.
Oh, where's your cannon? I need to bring your cannon in here.
So true, and I hate that. Okay, and I have line of sight on this thing?
Yes, you do.
Okay, I guess pop.
It's a lot of pops.
A lot of pops. I'm not. I don't think I would hunter's mark this probably. We will be with much company.
Yeah, this is your first assassin round, though, so I do think you have advantage on. I think this is the first time you're using assassin. You do have advantage on all these attacks, true. I believe. Because you're, or no.
Because nothing's. I have surprise, I think.
No, because you're getting it for anybody who hasn't taken a turn in initiative yet. So
great.
Nobody's surprised. You don't get the critical hits from assassinate, but you do get the advantage.
Okay, so 4 shots are about to ring out.
Okay.
Once I remember. Great, need that advantage.
A 15 glances right off of it and sticks into a wall before it disappears.
Great.
I think it's either control click or shift click for advantage, by the way.
Cool.
17 does slam into it. And
great.
It does suffer the damage.
There you go.
22 is also great. And then this last attack will have the extra Dread Ambusher damage as well. So you want to roll one more
D8 in.
Okay, that's total of 19 as Drada sinks 3 arrows into this. And it has just sort of there's like a mechanical whir to whatever engines are sort of beneath this thing. Beneath whatever programming it has at the moment.
Cool. And I think I then look around and go, "Are we pulling levers again? What's happening?"
Well, we pulled Ruby already, so Emerald's next in the middle sequence if we're trying to do a sequence. But
No, it went back into place. Oh, okay, yeah. They could still count. Just it went back into place, I think.
Yeah, it went back into place.
Standing by Ruby.
Yeah, all the levers are back in the up position at the moment.
Who's standing by Ruby?
Well,
Clax.
I had pulled the ruby.
Yeah,
Well,
so you
Emerald
pulled it and then it shifted back up.
Yeah, it
Because-
makes sense that it's one at a time.
Actually, wait, hold on. Actually, the ruby does stay down.
Okay.
I'm
Somebody
sorry.
just tell me which one's emerald.
it's that or we try and do them all at once, but we're going to need some crazy luck to make that work.
You all hear sort of like thudding of heavy footsteps eking around the corner as this other one seeps out. And it is just going to stay there for the time being. Flint, it's your turn.
Um,
Oh wait, this
seeing
one.
how that
Sorry, I forgot to
went.
unhide this one, but it walked out.
Pax, I hope you can figure this out. And I'm gonna. I don't actually know if I need to touch him or not. No, it's got a 30-foot range. I'm gonna look over and cast haste on Clax. Because I don't think anybody else could pull these levers.
Okay.
And we don't all need hit points. So I might.
Who's frightened right now, by the way?
I
I am.
think.
Claxes.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Clax and Flint.
Okay.
Frightened.
By the way, hopefully it's okay. This session might go a little long. See how this goes.
Yeah, Flint's gonna come over and stand in this door, and I'll try and I don't know if it's gonna help at all, but I'll try and telekinetic shove the this one.
Okay.
Because I don't have another bonus action to use at the moment. I don't think. Needs to make a strength DC 17 save.
Going to rule this as a magical effect, which it has advantage against.
That seems fair.
But it does not succeed as it's shoved back 5 feet.
And Flint will raise his shield and try to look brave.
All right. Clax, you are up and hasted.
Okay. Do I get to try and overcome the fear?
Not while you're within sight of this door that's being pounded on.
Okay. All right. Do I know which one of these is emerald?
That was the one that Flint was on, right next to you.
Okay, so I can really reach that without going near to the door?
Yeah.
Okay, I will attempt to pull down on that with my first action.
Go ahead and athletics check. We'll say that this is your hasted action, so you still have a full round of attacks if you want. Okay. Yeah, no problem. You pull it down, it sticks down, and you sort of continue hearing the thudding at the sort of hidden door, but you do have your full normal turn still.
Okay. I'll just yell real quick, Sapphire! See if anybody points in a direction.
I'll say, just for the record, Mouse is Sapphire,
Shit.
Aesop is Topaz, and Drada, the bottom right corner, was Diamond.
ATD. All right. I can't really move forward. I can see the door. Yet.
You could move through Flint if you wanted. He's small, but sort of up to you on what what kind of danger you want to get yourself into.
Can't
Your
use
AC
a
is too higher.
What's that?
Your AC is too higher.
Oh yeah, because of haste. Yep.
We're good.
But I can't move towards it, right? I can't move towards the
You
source.
can't move towards,
You can move
The back of the
down.
room.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can move down.
but you could move over towards like the golems or something if you want to attack one.
Oh, sorry. I've pulled Ruby and Emerald. So, Sapphire was this one, right?
Yeah.
Next
You
to
can't. You
Mount
can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't get Sapphire or you can't get Mouse's Aesops or Aesops, but you can get Dradas.
Oh, hold on. Is it this door that I'm scared of, or is it out here I'm scared of?
The
first thing.
over here.
Okay, yeah. All right. So then, as I come down here, I see out here. Am I scared of this then too, or is it still?
No,
just
you're not
door?
scared of those guys.
All right. Since I can't move towards that right now, I will go ahead and come out here and attack this thing.
Are you purposefully avoiding the pressure plate?
Oh shit! Yeah, I have to jump.
I mean, if you're
yeah.
I mean, you can move diagonally if you want.
Yeah, I'll attempt to move over there
Okay.
without stepping on the pressure
One
plate.
has a couple holes in it from Drada already.
Okay. And then I will attempt to hack at this thing.
Okay.
If I can. There we go. Nat 20.
Ooh.
I'm going to invite you as you're sort of like fighting off this. I'm not always going to allow this, but as you're fighting off this fear from behind, you feel your shoulder start to burn. I'm going to invite you, if you'd prefer to use your bonus action before that natural 20, just this one time, sort of channel your the spell you got from your dragon mark.
No, I'm good right now.
Okay, it is burning your shoulder, and you feel like it's something you could unleash, and you're not really sure quite what's going on. But you deal 20 damage to this guy.
Yep.
And it sort of reels back in as you sort of like rip into its circuitry. It still is standing though.
I will go again.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
Black's
Does
mad.
that go into Fabled action since it was back to back?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't the same
Yeah,
roll,
it's,
right?
it's usually with advantage, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's another solid 18 damage. It's still standing. These things are built pretty sturdy.
1 second. Sorry, it's been a while. Give me. I know I've already taken a long turn. I do apologize. What is that? Nope, because I'm in range. And you know what? The hell with it. Action surge.
Alrighty.
And we're gonna go ahead and attack again. And I'm hasted. It's only the haste action. I don't get a third one again, right?
Yeah, correct. So you get
Okay.
two more attacks.
So hack at it. Still
A
24.
24 is definitely a hit. As you hit it this time, it's going to use its reaction to do a reactive slam attack against you. And it's sort of like as it's throwing your axe into it, because you had critted earlier, it didn't really have the chance to react. But this time, as you sort of slice into it, it reaches for you and you pull away from it.
Okay. And then still upright though.
Still upright, but looking quite bad.
Ooh, does a 20 hit?
A 20 does hit, and this creature starts to like crumble and fall. It looks like it's still like it does fall to the ground. It looks like it's still on, but it is like you see the eye still glowing, but it seems to have shut down, at least for now.
And then before I end my turn, I feel pumped after slashing the shit out of this thing. And I'm behind a wall from that frightened thing. Can I
Yeah, go
take
ahead and
a...
roll a wisdom save again.
Alright.
No.
Can I burn a Dominal
You
on
can
this?
if you'd like. Yeah.
Anything to be able to get that. So that's burned. Need a good roll. Need a good roll.
All right, there you go.
Woo!
15 was a save, so you shake off the sound of this with the adrenaline of
10.
sort of slamming this thing down.
And I still have 10 feet of movement. Or actually, my movement's doubled, right?
Firm haste, yes.
I'm
You
going to
don't
jump
have
over.
anything else to.
No actions,
Yeah.
correct. But run over that. And I'm going to go ahead and just put myself right next to the lever and block the door.
Okay.
Done. Sorry, guys. That was a long one for me.
That's
That was
That's good. You all hear the sound of more clattering from down the hallway, both kind of close to the door that you initially came from. Aesop, it is your turn.
It takes an action to try to bring down one of those levers.
Yes.
I think I'll look at Mouse. I'm like, I think I gotta try.
I can
Your
help you if
lever.
you wait.
Okay.
Decisions.
What are you saying?
Sorry, I it sounded like she's going to help you. Are you trying to do help? Like, are you trying to ready an action, help action, or what is the?
Oh, I could. Okay, so then I'll run over there. I'll scooch by Clax. And then I'll do my bonus action since I have to ready my action. So for my bonus action, I will give Flint a inspiration, bardic inspiration. Since you are right up there. And then I'll like look at Mouse and I'll be like, I'm ready. Hand on the lever, ready to pull.
Okay. So you're readying your action to pull with Mouse, or well, Mouse, it's your turn.
Sweet. As Aesop reaches out and grabs the lever, I slam my staff on the ground, and some glittery star energy falls over you, and you feel yourself start to grow.
Ooh.
So I cast Enlarge, which does give you advantage on strength checks.
Nice. Okay.
And you're
I'm probably
huge now.
also hunched at this point.
I'm going to say that Clax. Sorry. You can technically see into that room for some reason. Oops, I didn't mean to open that door. Ignore that. Clax, you're sort of pushed to the side a little
All
bit.
good.
Like, oh, sorry.
I
sorry,
almost
Clax.
both of you.
But you can spend your readied action to pull if you'd like.
All right.
Athletics with advantage.
Advantage. This is a cerulean, right? As we said earlier.
It is the sapphire, if that's what you're asking. Yes.
Okay. All right. You said strength.
Yes.
Or
athletics. Yeah.
Okay. With advantage, which I think it's shift.
Okay.
Well, shit.
Yeah, without issue. I think.
Bam.
Fox, you have no idea how Aesop managed to grapple you out of the burning needle earlier, but this version of Aesop is pretty formidable. As you slam that lever down. Mouse, I think you still have a bonus action if you'd like.
Nobody's super hurt yet that I know of. So I think I'm just gonna back up.
Okay. Another one. You still hear more sort of sounds of things coming down the hallway. The one that has sort of been chopped up by Clax and had a few arrows in it. You start to see it sort of the different wires. You start to see like these, I would say like tubes of red liquid that are sort of like a hydraulics are starting to sort of reform itself. but not this turn. Drada.
Okay, hi. Who is frightened right now?
Just
think-
Flint?
No.
I was gonna say, I think I should have re-rolled.
No,
But
because
I'm
you're
not-
still within the sight of
Okay,
the
so I have to
source, yeah.
leave the room.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so it's just me and you.
must
Alright.
be. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, in that case, probably not worth it. I would love to cast an entangle outside of this room. Just to try to slow these little friends that are coming our way.
Sure, please do that.
Essentially, yeah, just make them really work to get to this door.
Oh, hold on. Yes, I see exactly what you're doing. Okay, let me. Oops, why am I on private?
There's so many dice being rolled.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, yeah, trying to shake off these bad vibes.
Okay. Well, you have to leave the line of sight of the sort of door that's being hammered on in order to try to shake them off.
So, or if
You-
that's the case,
You could have done that before you cast Entangle if you would like. Just like try to step out, steal yourself, and step back
yeah.
in.
So I step outside, try to clear my head.
Okay. Go and roll a wisdom save. Unfortunately, a 13 does not cut it by itself, unless anybody has anything to do to help that.
I don't think I do.
I can make you roll lower.
Thanks.
Well, I will say
No.
the nature of
Yeah, no, that-
stepping out is now that it's hard to step
Yep,
back in.
I figured that was going to potentially happen. That's fine.
I'll. Do you
I
want to
can
take the
cope,
entangle
it's okay.
back, or do you want, or where do you want to be?
No, I'll fully commit to it. It was.
Okay.
If I get very injured, I get very injured.
Okay. I'll say
Thank
that
you, yeah.
you're at least grabbing the wall so that you're outside of your own entangle.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to be there, or do you want to be like, because this one's currently deactivated, or at least for now.
Oh, if that's the deactivated one, yeah, right there would be great.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. This one that is currently restrained is technically I need to re-roll that because it would have had advantage because it's a magical effect. Okay, it actually would not have been restrained. But it is still difficult terrain as it. Oops. I believe it's difficult terrain. Yes, it is. Okay. It is quite gummed up right now as it steps forward 15 feet, which is enough to get it here. And there is a burst of radiance surrounding it. This is going to touch many people, but it's really, the light does not go around walls. So really this is just hitting Flint and Drada as the light hits you too. If you could roll a Constitution save.
Constitution saving throw. Okay.
Unfortunately, that is 28 radiant damage to Drada, and 14 radiant damage to Flint, as this creature just sort of bursts with radiant light. You do see that this, because I have to roll it for this guy as well, that the automatons that it is also within a line of sight of do have to resist this as well. And the one that is on the ground kind of erupts, not such that it causes explosion damage or anything, but it sort of like the eye deactivates and it sort of crumbles to the ground. So it is causing like friendly fire as this guy exploded into radiant light.
And it does seem like that like fully killed the.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Flint.
Has anyone at this point stepped on this pressure plate, or we still all just
No.
avoided it?
Nobody has just yet.
Okay. Trotter, are there any more down the hallway?
You
Can I
heard
see any
footsteps
more
from
down the hallway?
over the course of the initiative. You've heard footsteps coming from down the hallway. So.
Oh, they're coming.
Okay, but none are here yet. All right, I'm gonna first, as a bonus action, move my cannon to a place where I feel like it'll hit me and Drata. Do that. Oop. If I can. Yeah. All right. 9. And I might hold an action to cast. Oh, do I think I want to do Shatter or Thunderwave?
Don't shake your head, Ace.
Both of those make really loud sounds.
That's fine. They're constructs, though, and I think constructs don't like thunder stuff.
Oh, trust me, I've already thought of the idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold Shatter until, I guess something else appears within range. Like, I'm trying to like hold it in case another one of these golems shows up, and I can get at least 2 of them.
Okay. Cool.
And otherwise, I'm hunkering down.
Alrighty, Clax. You're still
right.
hasted.
Yep. So now, if I remember correctly, this is Topaz over here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to run over here. That's only 10 feet of movement. I'm going to attempt to yank this down.
Okay, athletics check. This is your hasted action.
I got confused by which one was Topaz and which ones wasn't.
This is Topaz in the corner, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the one bottom left is diamond.
Yep.
Cool.
So I don't know if an 11 worked.
Unless there's anything somebody can do to juice it up. I don't recall who has wheel woe versus Flash of Genius and stuff.
Technically, wheel is before the roll.
Yeah,
I think we're like, if there's ever a situation where you would have rolled it, but it just sort of got rolled too fast, then feel free. But
I don't know if we've established if Flash of Genius is like before the roll or after the roll, but before the outcome, or.
I mean, it's a reaction, right? So it's sort of like,
Yeah,
it's in a reaction to a roll, I think. So I think it could be after the roll.
after the roll. Sure, I'll Flash of Genius that and give it another +5.
What are you doing to?
I think I kind of look over and like correct him on his form. Like, no, Clax, put your like leg on the wall and crank on it this way or something.
Put some muscle into it. I think Clax just yanks harder because he's mad at you.
That's seems fair.
But this lever does go down.
Okay.
Well,
so that's
actually, sorry. I do, before you use Flash of Genius, it is spending your reaction. Holding an action is using a reaction.
No, I wouldn't. I would,
Yep.
because
Okay.
that probably burns the spell.
Yeah, that would burn your spell, and you wouldn't be able to cast it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Nope. I ain't.
Yep,
Okay.
that's fine. So then I will take my action to go ahead and attempt to pull it down again.
Okay.
18.
18 without issue. You yank it down. You hear sort of like these clicks as these rods are being released from whatever this door is that Aesop is sort of standing in front of right now.
And then
Oh.
Aesop is after me, so he can go because we only have Diamond left. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I think what I'll do is I will, because the attack action is usually 2 attacks, but I use my. So the only thing I'd have left is a bonus action, right? At this point.
I'll
Yeah,
give you
'cause-
one more attack. I'll say you grappled the lever as one of your attacks, just to be nice.
Oh, then I could grapple another
No,
lever. Okay.
No, you can only.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Sorry.
Nope. Then I think I'll just kind of sit tight then.
Okay.
And move right there, and that's my turn.
To be clear on I think a point you said there. When we're pulling these levers, we're hearing clicking from the door that's scaring us.
Yes.
Okay.
From down the hallway, Flint, sort of out of the corner of your eye, you see another creature enter the space. Another one of these automatons. In sort of the matter of which you know that you're in range of an additional target.
So Flint's smarter than I am, and looked at where all of these were. Do I think there's about to be a... Nah, I'll just use it on the 2. I'm not gonna
You can
risk.
hit 3 right now. Oh, you don't even see that. I'm going to move you here just temporarily. There's an
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I'll definitely go ahead and do that.
Okay. Is this Shatter or Thunderwave?
Shatter.
Okay.
I'm not gonna bother placing a measured template.
Yeah, it's fine.
Seems unnecessary.
Ooh.
They have disadvantage because they're constructs. They have advantage because it's a magical effect. So they're all just going to roll flat.
Only one.
And one of them succeeds, and
Oh, and I get an extra D8.
from your blasting rod. Okay.
Cool.
That'd be 13 thunder damage that, as you sort of predicted, these folks are vulnerable to thunder.
Nice.
And so 2 of them take 26. I'll figure out who that is here in a second. One of them takes 13. You also hear a thunderous crash that echoes out quite far.
Sorry, guys.
It's not Shatter doesn't have the written component that Thunderwave does. That's like it's super loud. So you're not sure, but you know that you're underground in an echoey area. So who knows? Okay. Aesop, it is your turn. Or no, sorry. Yeah, Aesop, it's your turn.
We went from Flint to me.
Yes. Flint held it in action.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, so it's Aesop. Yeah.
So I will go down and pull the last lever because that was the plan.
Okay, go for it.
All right. That is athletics.
Yep, with advantage.
Oh, come on.
Damn it. That was rough. I'm like, guys, this is harder. This one seems to be really stuck. And I can't get it. I don't have anything else to help me. So yeah, unless I had Bardic Inspiration already. Oh no, I can't put it on myself. So I will. Oh, can I see Drada if I move right here?
Just the corner. Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. I think I will give my next inspiration to Drada.
right.
Thank you. I hate everything.
You're staying there.
I mean, I'm super massive, so I'll just be in the way of everyone else. So yeah.
All right. Mouse, you are up. Just for some context, Dorada doesn't look so hot.
Yeah, I gathered that. Not
Okay,
sure.
fine, don't worry about
I'm not sure what the best approach to doing about that is. I'm gonna start by walking down and looking out. If I don't leave the room, but I'm in this corner, can I cast at this guy, or do I not have enough of an angle?
You can. I want to ask you to map that path though, because technically you would get like an attack of opportunity the way you just did it. So are you trying to like scoot under Clax and get into the corner?
I mean, I don't know that I would know he was there until I was in this spot, would I?
You hear sounds of things around the corner. Your exact location, you're not sure. But
Then absolutely. Then I'll
yeah, you're fine.
and come back here. But while I'm in line with Clax, I will drop a healing. Oh, I can't do this. Sure, I'll drop a
Real data will be fine.
word.
I'll be fine.
Don't worry about me. It'll be fine.
Okay, then I instead will. I'm useless. Guiding bolt that thing? No, I won't. I will not do that.
Can you see these guys on the initiative?
No.
No.
Oh, what? But you can see their tokens.
Yes.
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 Okay, for some, I don't know why. Okay. You shoot a guiding bolt, and it sort of just glances off of it.
Yep, that's all.
Did you have a bonus action, or no?
Can't cast another leveled spell, so no.
Gotcha. Okay. This one who is sort of in the back line, what are they gonna do? Well, they don't want to. So, 10 feet of movement, 20 feet of movement, 30 feet of movement.
That's rough terrain, though.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what I'm calculating is 30 feet of movement onto rough terrain. Stepping directly onto the pressure plate. I'm going to ask for Drada, Flint, and I'm going to say just Drada and Flint to roll a Constitution saving throw.
Can I wheel Drada? I probably don't have line of sight. No, I don't.
Yeah, sadly no. Assuming that you need line of sight. Drada, you are fine. You see that sort of like this pressure plate, and we talked about the wires under it leading to this sort of like panel or this square behind you. You see it turn as a sort of like radiant blinding light fills the room. Drada, you are able to avoid. You sort of like shut your eyes in this moment, and you're able to avoid any negative consequences. Flint, you are blinded for the next round, as it sort of like echoes, like ricochets into your glasses, and you're sort of just like briefly stunned, not stunned condition, but just blinded as you're shielding your eyes.
Okay. Deciding how I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna like cover where these enemies are. Okay.
Technically, these guys also need to do that. I'm going to do it. Oh, shoot, I just closed the door. saving throws. I'm failing at my own thing. Okay, he's fine. But I think that the light, as it's sort of shielding itself from the direction that it's coming, is where Drada is standing, and so it sort of turns its attention to reach into the room. It is going to make an attack on Flint, who is currently blinded, so it has advantage.
Oh, is blinded give it advantage?
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
For a 20 to hit.
I used my reaction already, so yeah, that hits.
Okay. You take 13 damage, and as it sort of reaches for you, the radiant hand that is sort of it like sort of temporarily grapples you as it pulses radiant light directly into your body. So I need you to make a Constitution saving throw as you feel your blood start to be like infused with this radiant energy.
Blood purification.
I don't think I've used my reaction, which sounds like this should be wheeled.
Sure, go for it.
Can see you, Flint.
I will take it, but
Okay. You're able to, like, you sort of steel yourself as you feel like this radiant light trying to take hold in your body, and try to sort of like, almost like it's trying to cleanse your blood in some way, as it pulls back from that attack, and it's going to just make a second slam.
I was gonna say, so I don't take any damage.
You don't take any blood purification damage, but
Okay.
but you do take. We need to roll. You need to roll 2 more d8.
I will. Silvery barbs. That's my reaction.
I'm gonna roll the 2 extra d8 first, just in case. 20s again. Can you click silvery barbs? I want to reread it. If it's reroll a dice or if it's reroll the whole attack.
Pretty sure it's just the die.
Reroll the d20, use a lower roll.
Okay, so I'll reroll. So this is +7. Okay, 17.
That misses.
Miss.
Okay. So
Nice.
as it,
Now who gets advantage?
Who would be next in order? Because we don't see the enemies on the
sorry.
carousel.
Well, Drada's next in. Well, you can't see Drada. Flint is the next
that's
ally in order.
Sure, I'll give it to you. You have bardic inspiration and advantage.
Oh man. Well, I do need to make at least one con save for concentration on haste.
Yes, please do that.
Please fast.
Yeah,
You have advantage. You have
You do have
advantage on
advantage.
ability
Yeah.
check or saving throw.
yeah. I'm gonna
saving
use
throw.
that because
Oh Lord, jeez.
losing
That could've been
concentration on haste
disastrous.
is real bad.
Yeah.
I'm going to allow it, even though technically the saving throw would have been from the first hit, not the second hit.
Oh,
But we'll allow it. It all happens so fast. Another creature you start to hear. This hallway is starting to get quite crowded as another creature steps into the vines. Drada.
Cool. I would love to roll a wisdom saving throw.
You may, please.
Thanks.
You have bardic inspiration. That might not help.
Oh.
Yeah.
Don't think you do because you couldn't see him.
I saw the corner.
Oh no, sorry. Then you're right. Sorry.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I think
No.
Drada is just in a spot
Pickle.
right now.
Yeah.
It's fine. This is why we have the backup situation, which is I'm scared of the world and want to stop dealing with it. So I cast Rope Trick and just yeet into the fucking ceiling for a while.
If you come inside, I can block the door.
I can't. So
Yeah, he can't
no.
come in. He's still scared.
I'm just
So
kind
I
of
have
reading
retreated
this.
quite literally into my cave.
So So technically, you would still need to leave its range, right? I'm trying to gauge whether it gets an opportunity attack. Give me a second to just quickly Google this.
I mean, I'm happy then to bonus action disengage.
You can.
Yeah.
I
would
have
love to bonus action disengage, run into my hidey hole.
got some bad news. If you read that ability, it sort of blitzcrank arms you back in. As one of its arms sort of shoots up into the hole, regardless
Love
of
how-
the disengage action.
Super specific too.
Um,
I already used my reaction. I can't silvery barbs it.
so
It says attacks and spells can't cross. Okay, can't cross the entrance.
yeah, let me just Google this really quick. Because it is a 10-foot ceiling, so it's sort of like it's such a tight space that you're not even going 60 feet up. Like you're not leaving the space that quickly, or you're leaving it very quickly, is what I mean to say. I feel
It's also
it's really-
invisible, so it would no.
Huh?
The entrance is invisible.
Yeah, but you're okay. I'm gonna give it disadvantage on this attack because it is us like you're not you are leaving its 10 feet, or you're going up far enough that it would leave the 5-foot range that it is sort of reaching into. So I'm just gonna give it a disadvantage for now, and it rolls a 1, so you're good.
Cool.
But you do see it sort of like blitzcrank try to reel you back in as you sort of disappear into the hole.
That's an awful
Rada's
reaction.
crying in a corner of his cave now, and that's great for him.
It is this one's turn. It's going to roll to see if it gets its luminous burst back. It does. It's going to try to push past Flint. Flint, if you could roll an athletics check.
Not great at these.
It didn't roll that well. So
I was about to say you have a.
Yeah, Bardic
you
is.
have Bardic
Yeah,
inspiration.
This is it. Just trying to get past me.
it's trying to get into the room.
Sure, I'll Bardic inspiration and prevent that from happening. Oh, all right.
Okay.
I thought clicking that was going to do it. It's a D8.
Yeah. I mean, you tied, so
Yeah.
you functionally okay. You managed to just shield up, even though you're sort of blinded at the moment. You just feel pressure sort of budging in front of you, and you hold firm. It is going to still take some attacks, though.
Please miss.
For 21.
That'll hit.
You don't have shield or anything.
I haven't
Oh, you
had a
already used-
turn to use to get my reaction back yet. I don't think.
No, next up,
No,
probably.
you're next up. Yeah.
Yeah.
This one is going to use its blood purification on you. If you could roll a con save.
Con save. Nope.
And you are afflicted. And as you sort of feel, you are within the realm of not terribleness, but you feel as this sort of like wave of radiant energy comes over you that it sort of sticks within you. It's going to make a second attack.
If the target takes damage at the start of their turn. Yeah, that's gonna hit. Jeez, 19.
Yeah. So a total of 28 damage right now.
I was gonna say, and I'll take
You're going to take
more
2d8 at the start of your
concentration.
turn. Yeah.
I need to make a bunch of concentration checks.
Yep.
Well,
Oh.
haste is gone already, right?
No.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
I succeeded the first time, but I need to make it
Two
at least
more.
2 right now. First one is easy, quote unquote,
Oof.
but fails. So
I think that ends it, doesn't it?
yeah.
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 All right.
I'm pretty sure if I know when it ends, it tells it when the spell ends, the target can't move or take actions until the start of its next
Yeah.
turn.
Plax
Yep.
is gonna have to
Fuck.
shake this off.
Yep. I'm fucked.
All right.
I had so many things lined up too.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Oops, sorry. Flint. Okay, Flint. Beginning your turn.
All right.
You take 12 radiant damage.
God.
All right. Still standing,
And you're currently blind.
and I'm currently blind. All right.
Doesn't that go away at
that's
the
it.
end?
Yeah, at the end of your
turn.
turn, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna bonus action use my shield because that seems important. Oh, of course. Get the bare minimum there.
That's your 4th one tonight.
Well,
it was
that's
on
just on a
D20, but
D8, though.
yeah.
And then so I've been hiding where these enemies are on my screen with just another window. I'm gonna do. Oh, have we hit these things with fire at all?
Not yet, no.
I think Shatter's still gonna be better. I think because they're vulnerable. Yeah. I'm gonna shatter 2 over and like 1 or 2 up, like far enough that I think it's not gonna hit me, but
Yeah.
more or less where I thought they were all congregated.
Yeah, you can confidently center it.
All right.
Yeah.
Then I will do that. And I get an extra D8. Come on. All right, well, 14 damage.
All right. Advantage because magical, disadvantage because construct, as several of them suffer from this. The one immediately 28, the one who's like at the door does sort of drop to that deactivated state. As the other ones sort of take the brunt of it and seem to continue moving forward.
Right. Do I think I move? So you said the one right in front of me deactivated.
Well, you're blinded, so you don't really know, but
That's fair.
um,
Nope, I think I stay put. I think. Yeah.
All right.
Oof.
Plax, you have a giant sort of round, like just complete vertigo from the speed that you were traveling at mere moments ago as you feel yourself like pulled back into the current timeline, so to speak. This one is going to step here and going to use the Radiant Burst. I need everybody except for Dorada, who is nowhere near this, to roll a con save. Plax, you still have a normal roll, even though you're stunned.
I think you said this doesn't go around corners and I can't see this creature?
It's the one, it is this one. It stepped on top of the dead one.
It's on Flint.
No.
I need to refresh.
Okay, yeah. It's right outside the door.
I don't get any sort of like advantage because I'm blind, do I?
No, this is like radiant energy, not blinding.
Yeah.
Y'all, I'm worried if I pull that lever down, I'm gonna open that door.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna click this button.
Holy
I
shit,
don't think
Flint.
really, I don't think it mattered.
Flint,
do I
your
take
rolls
that?
tonight.
Yeah, you take half.
Yeah,
Fine,
I would have been
you're
down
ready.
either way.
Ah,
I think. So,
All right. Mouse takes 28. The other two, you take 14. Aesop and Clax. As you see Flint drop next to you. I think technically the cannon should be rolling this as well. It's
the
hard when it's right
cannon.
there. The cannon
Probably.
has 45 hit points. It could survive this. But Aesop, it's your turn.
Do I have any indication that every lever that I pulled made a noise with the door since I'm standing right next to it?
Yeah, you sense that this door is slowly reopening. Yes.
Unlocking. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we gotta kill these things, guys. I don't think opening a door to let something else in is gonna do us any good. Because the ones we've been pulling is the second stanza, which opens the room. It's not gonna let us. It's not the way out.
I mean, Shatter's been working pretty well.
I kind of want to try a new spell that I got.
Go for it.
Yeah, we're getting into TPK territory, so do whatever you feel comfortable with.
I never worked with psychic damage before. Do I need to know if the enemy has intelligence up there for it to even land, or would Aesop even know that?
I'm taking a look at. So if you read the first paragraph of the spell, it does define. Assuming you're talking about your 5th level spell, it does define the sort of prerequisites.
I was my 4th. There's a 4th level one that I have too.
Sorry. The 4th level, the 4th level you can do to anybody. It's just sort of like a psychic
blast.
Yeah. The 5th level defines it though.
I gotta try. So this is my first time that I'm using this spell. So I will have. Do my items grow with me, or are they just kind of same size?
No, they grow with you.
Okay, so now I pull out a giant book, and I imagine there's an orb of energy just conjugates it within the open book, and then slams into my head and disappears, and then just shoots out at the one in the doorway.
Okay. Go ahead. And I just deleted the one that was underneath this guy because it did detonate with the burst of radiant energy.
I think it's an intelligence saving throw. That's a good roll.
All right.
Also pretty die.
Yeah, it's pretty die. Big 10. Does have advantage because it's a spell. Not any higher. As this guy has not been hit as much, but it does take a big chunk out of it as this lance of power just sort of blows. I'd say it starts to quickly corrode some of the metal in its chest, and it really is starting to slow down as this wave of psychic energy just sort of pierces through it. It's looking quite bad.
I'm thinking, that was cool as shit. Oh god. Mouse, it's your turn. Here's some inspiration points for you. D8, your way.
I don't know how helpful that's gonna be because I'm just trying to keep you alive over here.
Because you need to make a saving throw to keep you alive. But that is my turn. I'm happy.
Alrighty. Well, Mouse, it's your turn.
I'm gonna use my halfling nimbleness to squat under Clax's legs, where I'm first going to enter my chalice form.
So it does get an attack of opportunity as you leave that corner-to-corner space.
Yeah, I can't see that though, so I still run away from it.
Okay. it's going to go for the grab as it yanks you back into your place.
I think it would do it anyway, but I feel like I should get cover if I can't see it.
Is there? So I can see it. I guess I'm struggling. I don't know what's on your screen. To me, it's.
I can't see the creature unless it's this one.
No,
And
it's this one.
Oh, I still don't see that on my screen.
Okay, you can take it back if you want. I don't
will
know what.
If
Yeah,
there's
take
a
it back.
creature here,
Yeah,
I
there's
will.
a guy on the door. That's the yeah. Sorry.
Cool. Still gonna enter my chalice form.
Okay.
Do I see Drada?
No.
Okay, sorry. I'm gonna cast Mass Cure Wounds, which will get you anyway as long as you're within 30 feet of me.
He's in another
Dimension.
dimension.
Yeah.
I'm in
Drada's in
another
a different dimension.
Well, I get what I get over here. Like I said, I can't really see anything.
Massacre Wounds is a blessing.
Yeah, Mass Cure Wounds and give Flint my extra D8 plus 3.
Okay.
I don't need to lay this template.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Okay. And then one extra D8 for Flint, plus 3.
And
That's-
17's for everyone else.
17's for everybody except.
Drada.
Sorry, that was a D10. It's a terrible D10.
Reroll it with a D8.
It's the same as a D8. So Flint, you get an extra 4. Everybody except Drada gets 17, which I needed to.
Cool.
All right.
I don't think I'm moving, but I am going to refresh again.
Okay. I'm sorry that that's happening. It is 10:15. I'm just going to do this last because there's one more of these guys at the end of initiative, and then we're going to break because this still has the potential for another turn or two. But the person in the back line is going to. I mean, Flint is currently prone. 2, 3. Wait, who was here? 10, 15. Okay. Flint, are you trying? Like, there's a risk reward with this, right? Like, you're sort of awake. You're no longer blinded, and there's something trying to crawl over you. Are you resisting that? Or are you gonna let it get into the room?
If I can, yeah.
Okay, make a athletics check. I'm gonna say disadvantage because you're prone and just waking
Oh
up.
man, if I make this, it'll be a miracle. What is disadvantage? Control?
I believe so. Didn't roll that high.
Wow. Tested strength check again.
Uh,
Isn't it based on
It's your
what,
setting.
actual score?
Say what?
Isn't it based on the score at this point?
No, it's sort of like a meets it, beats it. Is the
Ooh.
yeah, like you set the DC to resist, and then
I see.
This individual, not even sort of recognizing Flint, I think just sort of walks in to this space.
Oh, sorry. I don't win because I meet it. It wins because
Because it's doing the pushing. Yeah.
I'm setting the DC.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the actor, yeah. This one has to roll to see if it gets its purification back. It does not. And having stepped over, yeah, I think it probably perceives Mouse as a threat at the moment because Klax is just coming out of the reverie of being hasted. So we're going to make a attack against Mouse. For does a 17 hit?
I don't have access to it. I'm out of Foundry.
Oh,
I
sorry.
think it hits, but I don't know what my hit points are.
Yeah, you have a 14 AC, so it does hit. Well, sorry, I'm getting mixed up in things. It's going to try to. Do you mind if I roll for you then for things if you're out of Foundry?
Yeah, but tell me what it is first, because I have
Okay.
access. I still have a whatchamacallit.
So roll a 17 against your armor class of 14 to hit, and now it's doing the blood purification, which is DC 15. Constitution, you have a +2 on.
Yeah, I will give my. Too many people about to die. Never mind.
Okay.
Ooh.
Reroll. Hey, you got it. Okay, because of the halfling luck.
That halfling what, man?
Third time tonight, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think total we've rolled like 8 ones tonight.
It makes a second attack against you and misses, but you do still suffer 18 damage in total as it enters this space. This round of initiative is over. It's late.
My only concern cutting it is I don't think you should kill Drada if Jacob's not here next week.
Well, I was gonna. Do we want to take another week off? I don't mind. I actually could use another week, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, I would rather not extend indefinitely. Are people
I'm fine
good
with that.
for?
What are you talking about? Drada's gonna be fine.
Yeah, Drada just stays in the hole for the next session.
Drada has enough time to short rest and then run. It's fine.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about it out on Discord just in case we want to work something out. But the intention is not for Drada to die while they're not here. So thanks for staying a little late. Sorry that this went on quite a while.
good.
There was a lot of investigation, so it took a little bit longer than I planned.
Just
I'm
to
back
be
with
clear,
Yay.
just to be clear, we have 2 left alive.